Yo, Joe Rogan sitting on your throne of fear, effective fame, platforming Hancock and Carson playing the same old game. Graham spitting Ice Age myths, Randall with his comic crash, Billy Carson alien vibes, Jimmy's Atlantis trash. You got him on a read episodes stacking like JRE cash, but Archaix knocking at the door, now you pass. Phoenix resets every 130-day simulations running deep, but you gatekeep the truth, let the masses stay asleep. Joe, you hunt hell, get smoke DMT, talk big about the mind, but when real chronology calls, you leave it behind. Grifting off the gullible, millions in the bank, gatekeeping ain't easy, but thanks for the rank. Gatekeeping ain't easy. Blocking the real from the stage. Shills get the mic, truth tellers locked in a cage. Rage against the liars, battle rap the deceit. For all who've been grifted, this roast is your receipt. Gatekeeping ain't easy, but we're calling you out. Archaix got the data, put an end to the drought. Andrew Schultz, flagrant with the laughs and the roast, but you host Hancock like he's the ancient ghost. Pyramids banned, Antarctica's jungle high. Debate on Rogan, you side with the slide. Randall's cataclysms, Billy's Anunnaki lies. Jimmy's lost cities under media skies. You crack jokes on stage, but ignore Archaix's call. Vapor canopy cycles, nah, that's too raw. Schultz, you funny, but you guess the suspect. Gatekeeping the grifters, what you expect? Epic battle style, but you dodge the real fight. Archaix ready to debate, but you ghost in the night. Gatekeeping ain't easy, blocking the real from the stage. Shills get the mic, truth tellers locked in a cage. Rage against the liars, battle rap the deceit. For all who've been grifted, this roast is your receipt. Gatekeeping ain't easy, but we're calling you out. Archaix got the data, put it into the draw. KPE, valuetainment, building empires with flair, but you platform Hancock and Carson without a care. Mapping the world, ancient text in the mix. Trump's Uncle Tesla, yeah, that's your fix. Graham on Atlantis, Billy on Jesus as he teed. Randall's impacts, Jimmy's theory so free, but precious chronology, Finny phenomenon real. Now you block that, keep the shield wheel. Business mind sharp, but history gate kept tight. Grifting the masses, under studio light. PPD you hustle, but does the debate. Archaix simulations, too hot for your plate.
Lex Frieden deep talks on AI and the stars. Hancock in your pod, lost sieves from afar. Ice Age origins, ancient human history spin, but Archaix's resets, where do we begin?
You ponder existence, robots in the soul, but chills like Carlton get the guest roll. Billy's aliens, Jimmy's underwater dreams, gatekeeping the truth, bursting at the seams. Lex, you in one deep smart, but miss the real code. Send me like on chronology on the Archaix road. Debate the data, don't hide in the lab. Gatekeeping ain't easy, but it's kinda trash.
Graham Hancock, limbic critic gods in the sand, but your timelines flop, can't even stand. Randall Carlson, comets crashing down, but Phoenix cycles own the crown. Billy Carson, Anunnaki Grift King, stealing ideas, what a sad thing. Jimmy Corsetti, bright inside dim. Atlantis fantasy, swim or sink. You lie to the masses, pockets lined with deceit. Archaix rise in your era's defeat. For all led astray, searching for light. This rose is your wake up. Chase operations, Archaix dropping true bombs raw. 138, your reset simulations law. From X to YouTube, data set stack high. No grift, no lies, just the why and the why. Hoss, you blocked him, scared of the debate, but the mass is awake and it's never too late. Gatekeeping crumbles, truth breaks the chain. Archaix forever in the simulacrum reign. Gatekeeping ain't easy, But the truth's coming through. No more deceit, shift. Rage against the machine. Battle rap the fake for the grifted and lost.
this is your remake. This is your
Yeah, man. Gatekeeping ain't easy. Love that song. I have like 3 or 4 different versions. Shout out to ASM Future. And if you're listening, bro, you need to go ahead and email me tonight because we got some more business. Cruising down the freeway. You know, I'm in the van vlog mobile. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I didn't have an epiphany. I was driving down the freeway and instantly just flashed as if I was somebody observing everything going on inside the construct from outside the construct. How would I communicate things to them? And no matter what they're going through, what would I do to prepare, even if they didn't understand the trajectories of their life, even if they didn't understand the phenomena that they were experiencing? I still have a plan. And I'm on the outside looking in. And to them, it's treacherous. They don't want to be there. They didn't sign up for this shit. It's going on. But I see the end result of all trajectories. I see what they only experience in part. I've already experienced the whole, and I'm seeing it from the outside, and it's a beautiful thing. So ASM Future, if you're in the chat or if you listen to this later on tonight, I know you always listen to them. Hit me up tonight, because I had an epiphany. I got all new lyrics to provide you, and I even have the type of music we need to put with that. It was yeah, man. Gatekeeping ain't easy. I sure had an epiphany today. Out running errands. Bella, my sidekick. Yeah, man. Sometimes I gotta wear a different hat to keep all that shit in. I can't let everything out. They'll lock me up. Let's see. All right. Audio was great. Awesome. I like hearing that. I could get a little bit closer too. Always make it just a little better. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is my hell yeah, you know what this is. We're going through 1929, 1930, 1931, 32 all over again. We're re-experiencing the Weimar Republic. Oh yeah. Remember the New York Times, World Jewish Congress came together and declared war on Germany, but after Germany was defeated, the whole script was completely rewritten, and all of a sudden the aggressors were the victims. Oh yeah, man. Shit goes deep. Yeah, I had to put one of them old helmets on, man, because shit's just falling out the sky. It's crazy. Hello, Krusty. I always know you're in the chat because I see a little crazy looking bird. I know most people by their profiles. Yeah, man, we got tonight's a freestyle. There are no rules. I did want to keep it structured a little bit, and the structure is talk about different archaic concepts, but instead of me getting up here pontificating the amount of data that I have provided on any genre of information, it's time for a little feedback. Let's talk about different concepts and where they are lacking. So the Phoenix phenomenon entails many different aspects of world history. So does the convergence fields and tertiary fields. Also, my We Immortals playlist. I go kind of deeper in cipher and in the underground on those, manifestation type deals. But still, there's a lot in the We Immortals for the general public as well. But this is a hard concept to approach because a lot of people will assume that information is lacking and they're just not an archaic veteran. They just haven't gone through all the information. So if you're new to my channel, I would ask you to refrain from coming on screen and basically informing everybody that you are new. I'm really asking for the archaic veterans, come on screen and say, hey man, we've been down this road. We have covered all these topics and you have given us all this data from these unique perspectives. But there's a link in this causal chain that could be strengthened, or this is what I'm looking for. Those of you who have been with the channel the longest, where in the data, like I have several presentations showing you the first 300 years of the Christian religion and where it was all fiction. It's literature that was later turned literal. So where is the weakest points in the data that you would like me to shore up? Because this video is going to determine many future presentations in the near future. Because if I find, I'm covering a plethora of topics. I can't literally keep up. I am now finished with Archaix Academy. And for those of you who have actually clicked on through the Academy files and looked at all 65 courses, you will see there is a massive amount of data. These are full, complete, all-encompassing data sets, either proving something or collapsing something as false. So those of you who have already received your academies, you know what? You would be the best to know what needs to be shored up. What topics or ideas have I basically presented the weakest points, and we need to strengthen those up. I'm all about the criticism because I'm very confident on the information that I've already provided. I know what I've provided. I know what its value is, but I also know that no one man is an island. Even my Chronicon project took 3 other minds to edit it, check the math, put it all together. Yeah, and I still don't feel that they've been adequately compensated for that. So there's always more to do. That's what I'm getting at. So you don't have to guess. I'm gonna provide. I have a list over here of things we can talk about, and you guys can go in any direction after that. But there are many topics for which you would want me to explore further. Topics that maybe I have been a little too dismissal without providing all the data on them. And I need that feedback because I don't want to be accused of gatekeeping, because gatekeeping ain't easy. I'm not with it. I'm going to take the easy route. I'm going to tell you the truth. And then I'm going to back the truth up with so much data that anybody thinks it's not the truth, it's going to have a real problem trying to prove otherwise. And that's what I like to do. I like to overwhelm people with information because it's readily available. It's everywhere, as I've shown in Archaics. People think that we don't have data to prove that the great flood of biblical fame was in this exact date in this exact month, and then they go through all the data and they're dumb. They're shocked. Like, holy shit! Didn't even know all this information existed, or you could even find it. We have things like the Ogaijian deluge. Yeah, first time you ever heard about that was Archaics, wasn't it? And the Archaics veterans know. Holy crap! So many ancient records, so many chronologists, so many different books before World War II all talked about it, and yet not a whisper. There isn't a single video out of millions of videos on YouTube about the Ogaijian flood. Nothing. But Archaics has 7 of them. It's taken 7 videos on just 1687 BC, the month of May, and what happened to our world. So that's the value of pulling your information from old books. That's where all the good stuff is. Anything published after World War II is highly suspect. It's just rehashed shit. Yeah, tightly controlled. So anyway, that's what I don't have any announcements. Chat Tuesdays for 3 hours tomorrow. People come on screen like they do tonight, and we talk about all kinds of things. Some things we just can't mention on YouTube. Wednesday, I really don't know what I'm going to be doing. Probably trying to finish these orders. Look, don't order any more drives. I hate to be an ass, you know what I mean? But no, I got rid of all my merchandise, which is what I wanted to do. Some of my merchandise was several jars full of drives or all these copies. Okay, all those are gone. And then so many more orders came in that I had to go ahead and order more drives and spend hours and hours and hours uploading and making my own drives. And you know what? Stop. Maybe 6 months or a year in the future, I'll do another drive sell. But I'm going to do it easier. I'm going to put everything on one drive and just sell it as one. I'm not doing all these 6 or 7 little micro drives. Yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah. As of tonight, after this video, do not email me asking for drives, none of that stuff. If you've already emailed me, I'll see the timestamps on. If you've already emailed me, I'm going to take care of you. I bought a bunch of extra copies of drives, empty ones. I'll make them for you and I'll send them to you. But I'm not doing it anymore. Don't email me tonight asking for drives or telling me, hey, man, I'm sorry, I'm just late. I'm not trying to hear it. Done. I've been doing this for 3 weeks. I only meant to do it for one night. I got other things to do, and it's bogging me down. All right. Way too many things to do to be spending all my mornings at UPS, DHL, and the post office, which is what I've been doing for 2 weeks straight. I don't mind helping people, and you know what? The income is good, but it's too much. It's too much. I got serious things to attend to in Cypher. We go 3 hours live in Cypher on Thursdays, and we got different side projects going on in Cypher now. We have our lead coder is now developing a Cypher app. Yeah, a Cypher app for the market. Everybody in the Cypher group will automatically have it for free, but for everybody else, it's a paid subscription. It's a legitimate date sequence predictive analytics app. So it's the same thing you can download from like Google Play. But yeah, we got other side projects going on in Cypher, and yeah, I'm just too busy to sit and make drives all day. Mr. Moss, Kevin Moss. That's pretty good analogy. It's like Jason put 1,500 books through a shredder, gathered the connected bits, stitched our true history together, then packed it into Academy Drive and gave us the unshredded sources. That's Archaix Academy. Yeah, Archaix Academy is nothing but source materials. And then you don't even have to take my word for it, because the PDFs of the original old books that I cite are in the Academy for you to read. Yeah, it's crazy. Whole bunch of PDFs of old books in the Academy courses. And in the supplemental materials. Okay, I told you, Archaix Academy is a university syllabus. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and. It's not hyperbole. It's not exaggeration, guys. This is the state of our educational system, and it sucks. It's terrible. Look at all the YouTube videos of the people who are literally losing their shit because they spent 4, 6, and 8 years on universities, and they have debt. They have debt they can't pay off in a lifetime now. For university degrees, master's degrees, and doctorates they can't even use because nobody's hiring. Yeah, watch some of these videos. People are losing their shit. Yeah, they spent a fortune getting an education for which they can do nothing with it. It's worth nothing. Universities and colleges now aren't worth a shit. The trade schools are where it's at. They're going to get you in where you need so you can make an income, not colleges and not universities. Yeah, man, the world's changing fast. You've got to be ahead of the curve or you're going to get left behind. Got to get ahead of the curve before you get left behind, guys. So let's see. My chat done got away from me. Yeah. Oh, so the reason I mentioned that is because it's the Academy. Although I now have Academy as a download, so you can download it like instantly as soon as you purchase it. I also have Academy as a drive. That is the only drive that I will always, every week I'll sell because I'm spreading Academy out all over the world. But all those other drives, yeah, man, they're gonna wait 6 months to a year from now. I'll do the drive campaign again. I'm not doing that. I'm done with that. But the Academy drives, that's easy. Every night I go to sleep, I can make 3 or 4 drives at the same time. I wake up and they're all done. I can put them in a jar. And as people order them, that's easy. As I'm running errands, go into UPS real quick, mail them off. That's not a problem, the Academy drives. But I'll continue Academy throughout the year. But I don't want to be the only source for this. There's going to be coming weeks and months in the future as more and more people get deep into the syllabus and they go into the Archaix Academy courses and start. Some of you have already gone through half of them, I know. But there's going to come a time when you're going to hear it from other people. You're going to be hearing other people saying, holy shit, there isn't a university syllabus in the world that's going to give you this education, I promise you. This is an education. Well, what you're receiving in colleges and universities now is nothing but marketing. It's just bullshit. Total bullshit. And almost all of it is tainted in uniformitarianism. So by the time you graduate, all information you try to process is inside a box. You're no different than Randall Carlson, man in a box. It's all circular reasoning, and it's such hypocrisy. It's such hypocrisy for people who believe that they are scientific minded to look down their noses at religionists. I'm not a religionist. I'm a critic of religions. Like I came out of that world, but I can see the hypocrisy of those believing that they are scientific. And yet they look down their noses at condescending at religions. Why? Why? In order to accept the world of science that you claim is true, you have to assume all kinds of things as true, which is faith. It's pure faith. Just like relative dating models. Every single relative dating model has been shown over and over and over to be untrue. But they practice exclusions and they remove the readings that don't support the outcome they're looking for. When they get 7 or 8 different tests that support the general date that they're looking for, the other 37 tests are shelved and they put them aside. And then they claim straight up. So look, man, we got 7. Do you have any idea the mathematical impossibility of getting 7 different tests by 6 different labs, all saying the general 1 million year period out of 500 million years in the past? They all isolated this 1 million year period 380 million years ago. They will gaslight the shit out of you, but they won't tell you about the 37 they got rid of, the 37 tests they got rid of that showed that shit fossilized in 1948. Yeah, man, it's uniformitarianism is toxic. Toxic. They have to assume as true 6 or 7 things about our atmosphere. Yeah, it's crazy. They have to assume them as true. Assumptions are faith. They have to take on faith that the world has remained virtually unchanged in millions of years in order for them to accept all these different relative dating models. Yeah, man. We're going to go deep this year on uniformitarianism. We're going to go deep and we're going to show all kinds of tests that have concluded that none of this shit that the scientific world believes in is real. None of it's true. Yeah, they're a bunch of hypocrites. And the problem is by the time they've paid for that hypocritical education, they've all been brainwashed into being good little uniformitarians. They don't even know that their education is defunct. They don't even know that they've been lied to. They don't even know. So it's basically good people and good souls coming out of a bad situation into a world where they actually believe that they know the truth. And they disdain those who don't accept it. And they think that they're objective and scientific when they're just as religious as a Christian. No different. There's no difference whatsoever. It's crazy. So crazy. So archaixlive@gmail.com. I'm gonna type it one time with my moderators. Please repost this throughout the video. You want to come on the screen with me? You want to talk about different archaics concepts where we need to shore up, where things may be weak or whatever? Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm not going to bring information to the table and then not let it get assailed. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. If there's any chinks in the armor, I'm gonna shore that shit up. So let's get to it. I know there are people who are curious about more things, but do not confuse your lack of archaics education with me not providing all the details. That's why I said mainly archaics veterans, because they know that there's archaics veterans that know the data. Hell yeah. So don't confuse. Don't think if you've watched 100 archaics videos and you've read 5 or 6 of my books that you're educated in all that matters. Now, I'm really talking to the people who have been through it, who have gone through it, especially my early critics. Many of the people that have blue wrenches are those that used to criticize me the most in my early years. Take that to the bank. I'm going to repeat that. Many people who have blue wrenches are those who used to criticize me the most. And I don't mean criticize me as disrespectful, but disbelieving or claiming I'm not actually making my case. You understand? Hell yeah. I have a habit of giving blue wrenches to people that show me they're very critical thinkers, people who have asked the right questions, people who aren't going to just fall for something. They're literally contributing by, okay, well, if that's true, then I can see this, this, and this. I pay attention to my comment sections. I'm not going to say the only one, but I might be one of the only people at my level in social media across the world on multiple platforms who still goes through his chat every single night. I might be one of the only ones. I go through my X comments. Yeah, man, I still engage with the public a lot. I just do it more so now it's spread out. I'm about to start engaging a whole lot in the underground because that's where I'm moving all of archaics, except for YouTube. But I'm moving most of the archaics, everything into The underground. That's where I'm going to be every day. That's where I'm going to chat every day. That's where I'm going to do my live videos. I'm going to pull people on the screen with me. This is what Archaic's Underground is for. The more we do in an insulated environment, the less we have to worry about censorship out here. So anyway, archaicslive@gmail.com. If you want to come on the screen, chop it up. If you're new to my channel, don't embarrass yourself. Don't come on the screen, ask questions, because my chat's gonna explode with people correcting you. Like, oh man, he's got 11 videos on that topic, man. Why did you ask that question? archaicslive@gmail.com. There it is. Thank you, Third Space. You ever come to Texas, man, I'm putting you up. I'm telling you. You ever come to Texas, you got a place to stay. What you throwing my way? You need to come hang out in the library. I think Face Diaper will be here next month, hanging out. Let's see. Oh, Cug, what's going on? You said, is that on Jason to end or on mine? What are you talking about? Static? I don't have any static. I do have an AC on. Let me turn it off and see if anything changes for you. I really don't need it right now. It just makes me talk louder. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. Wow. So glad you pointed that out. I'm sitting here talking to a mic's not even on. Because I had a external drive plug. My mic should be on right now. The quality of my audio should have changed just now. I can't believe I did all that talking and it was just the speaker on the laptop. Yeah, I'm glad I was looking at the chat. I'll be damned. Makes me want to say all that shit again. Yeah, that was the microphone on my laptop. This is my hype mic, which is the one I prefer. So that's what it was. The hype mic filters out. It's got to be close to you because it filters out noise from afar. You can't even hear my AC, but you could hear my AC through the cheaper mic on the I got a I keep forgetting the name of this damn. Oh, I have an HP Spectre laptop. You could definitely hear the AC through that mic. All right, cool. At least you could hear me though. At least you could hear me. All right. I didn't even have the mic plugged in because I had an external hard drive. I have Academy, all my drives. I got the Super Pack, the Survival Pack, the Academy drive, the We Immortals drive. I can't even remember all. Oh, the library drive is huge. Oh, the old photos drive is huge. I have all these drives on an external hard drive. When I make copies, I All right. I turned the mic on during the podcast, so it does that sometimes. Sometimes I just got to exit and come back in. All right. Welcome back. What was that? Welcome back, Carter. I lost some of you with that. Sometimes I forget how old I am. Welcome back. I used to watch that with WKRP in Cincinnati. Oh man, I'm taking some of y'all back. Some of y'all don't lie about your age. You know. Welcome back, Cotter, and hell yeah, I miss that generation. Archie Bunker, even the Jeffersons. Miss that old stuff. I was on my way to check my email, see who wants to come on here. Let's go with this. All right. Uh-oh. First email I saw, Natalie, Jason, I got your package. Thank you for the mouse pad, the stickers, the books, the mug. Yeah, man, I'm glad everybody's getting their shit. Let's see. Archaix Live. Oh, there we go. Winner chicken dinner. Here we go. Send this invite link in here. All right, so this is all right. I'm dropping this link in these emails. Come on. You get an email back from me. You know, I just dropped this link. Yeah, man. It's 3 people. 3 people got that link. All right, same guy. 4th person is the same guy. All right. I'll leave that open for now. I will leave that open for now. Chat is on fire, huh? So Vino, I don't know, Vino and Vonnegut, you say you can't hear me? Everybody else can. Oh, you must have been further back in the video. Catch up to everybody else in the video. You should be all right. I'm waiting for anybody to pop up backstage. Nobody's popping up backstage yet, but they will in a minute. But listen, remember, one of the things that we have covered here in Archaics is the claim, it's the default mode to those who are searching. So when people among the collective begin to waken up, they come into contact with rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. This is the work of intelligence agencies. We've talked about this in Archaics. Many false trails are out there. Many of these YouTubers are funded. They're very well funded to do what they do. The animations and the graphics, like, how the hell did you get all this, man? Badass stuff, man. And it's like, and who are you? And they just pop up with these really unusual and weird theories. And these are rabbit trails that are specifically designed. It's designed basically to get you to give up. Because once you've explored, I mean, think about it, man. You got hit with Y2K, nothing happened. Then you got hit with all the conspiracies about who really did 9/11. You know, you got hit with all the stuff about 2012. It was a huge buildup for over a decade about 2012. All these books, you wouldn't believe. I could provide you the names, but you wouldn't believe all the people whose names you know now who were heavy into that fraudulent 2012 shit, and they're still on YouTube, and they're super popular, and a lot of people like them, and a lot of people listen to their videos, but they were grifting that 2012 hard, making money on books, making money on documentaries, making money on videos, they got their sub counts up, talking about 2012 this, 2012 that. Little old Jason got the only book published in circulation in 2011 talking about 2012 was bullshit. How did I know? Because I'm a chronologist, and I know exactly how to factor the day count of the Mayan long count. Once you understand how to factor Mayan mathematics, it's so easy to understand how in 1952 two Mesoamerican scholars made a mistake. They easily made a mistake that was rectifiable. The Mayan long count did not end in 2012; it ends in 2046. But there's so many people that you know who don't want you to remember that they were in on that grift on 2012. Yeah, man. A lot of popular names. So I just don't feel like stirring up the pot. Don't get me wrong. You guys already know. All somebody has to do is just flinch, and I'll do it. But I'm not trying to stir up the pot. But, you know, somebody gets in my way, I'll have no problem putting them out there. And showing clips of all that bullshit. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because once a reasonably intelligent individual comes into contact with so many different rabbit holes and spends time and energy and even money exploring them, the entire time that you have gone down a false trail, you have been isolated away from something that is true. You get closer and closer to the truth the more you go down all these rabbits, but you're still not in contact with something that is verifiably true. After a while, it becomes mentally taxing. It's like the boy who cries wolf. What happens to those individuals? What happens to them? They default to, you know what, man, everything's a scam, everything's a lie, nothing is true. All history is fake. This right here is by design. But in Archaics, I've showed over and over and over, if that is true, then how do you answer these questions? And I've given all kinds of postulates for which no one can answer, other than the fact that, well, shit, there must be some truths. There has to be many things that are true here. There are things that are axiomatic. There are self-evident truths that we all agree to that are true. And they are not untrue for anyone, for the entire race, for the entire species. They are true. So if some things are true, then that means other things are as well. Yeah, this idea that all history is fake, yeah, I'm still waiting for that debate, because I can show all kinds of things from the historical record that were cross-referencing from hemisphere to hemisphere. It's but we have a vast apparatus of deceit in social media, in alt media, and in mainstream media, and that's all they do. They are funded to throw out every false trail known to man, every ridiculous theory, just really stupid shit, and they're perpetuated. And the algos grab them, and then they just take off with them. And then after a while, when people realize this is really stupid, they kind of die out. And once they die out, they're just on the back burner for, you know, whatever. They just die on internet space. Wherever the internet cemeteries are. How many of these really weird ideas and theories have you come into contact with that after a period of time, they just died out? Because they were so ridiculous, but they wasted your time, they wasted your life, they wasted your energy, and they wasted your resources. It's all by design, every bit of it. Yeah, man, every bit of it. See if anybody snuck in the door. Oh, somebody snuck in the door. Look out, Ben, you there? All right. All right, Ben.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm great.
Doing good. How are you, sir?
Oh, let me turn my volume down. You are loud. All right. Awesome. Man, are you in a bookstore?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. It kind of sounds. I can hear other people.
No, I'm here working. There's no one here, just me. I'm setting up setting up for a book sale here. So
okay, awesome.
So you actually met my daughter, Bronwyn, down at Virginia Beach.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, she was down there, and I was wanting to get down there, but not able to. But I'm hardly ever in the chat. I'm kind of one of those guys that just sits and listens behind the scenes. But just had a lot of crazy synchronicities listening to you many times, to the point where I've literally been writing or typing in a completely different context, and then you will say the same sentence coming out of your mouth as I'm typing. It's been crazy.
Yeah, man. It just means we're vibrating on the same frequency, man. That's all that is.
Absolutely. So listen, yeah, I got you asked for some questions for some errands. So I got a couple questions for you. Maybe you can clarify. So
all right.
So I don't want to go to. I know a couple of times people have asked you about first principles or original origins. I know that you don't go there, but so I'm from a similar background to you in that I was kind of raised in the Christian box, and very much in the creationist box, which was like 6-day creation. And you've talked about the event of the flood that came after creation, not the Ogygian deluge, the first one. A couple hundred years after 3895.
Yeah, you're talking about the one where Inky Enoch appears for the first time.
Yeah. So here's my question. So you talk about at that time they come up and the people on this in the world then are known as the Adamites, from which in the Bible we get Adam. But you've also covered many times about the different root races, or you've maybe alluded to it. And I think in one of your videos you alluded how maybe there was a time when certain races of man were created and maybe placed in different parts of the world. And that would have been, I'm assuming, a time before 3895. But I guess where I'm trying to piece things together in my mind. I've listened to your videos,
Hey,
probably every
Can you
once.
turn the volume down on? Are you listening to yourself on YouTube? Because we're getting a lot of feedback. We can hear you, but there's something in the background that's very loud.
Can you hear that better? I move away.
Oh yeah, we can hear good now.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. So before 3895, you had the capture of lunar flood, and you've alluded to in that period Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon. And I'd be really interested in a video sometime that dealt specifically with what the world may have been like before the capture of Luna through the 3895 BC creation, quote unquote, period, up to the time when Enki arrives. Because when I read like a lot of the mythologies, at times I can't tell what period of time they're talking about.
Right.
See, this seems to be like it seems like people are coming up from below the surface and down again all the way through history, and that it's hard to piece things together because there's so many missing pieces. We don't know when people may be coming up from the underworld, from the underground. You know what I'm saying?
I do. So I'm going to write right now, because you have just inspired a badass chart. I built the chart in my mind as I was listening to you talk. So this chart is going to show, I'm gonna write this down right now. Chart showing the loop of history and how new races start at beginning of each loop.
Right, because it seems to me like when you talk about Enki coming up, and then there's the mythology of there being one woman there that maybe served as like a, she's termed the goddess, or
yes,
maybe she was a medical officer. I think you referred to her as. It seems to me that that's happened from whether you said it or whether I'm just concluding it, but it almost seems like that's happened like numerous times.
Yes. So I have
because you also then talked about the those who are lunar born, and those who are born from lunar habitat. And so it seems like there's been so many. I suppose what got me last night, I watched the movie with my kids, Willow, in the 80s. And in that movie, they have you've got the Daikini, which are the regular size humans, and then the elven size, and it just struck me at the beginning of that movie where it talked about it being in a realm. And you've often, like when you've had Stellium 7 on, and he's shown all this evidence for the great trees and for the Titans, trying to place that in a timeline, it almost seems to me like at a reset event, maybe there's a changing of the scaling in the holography, where a reset occurs, but then what comes afterwards is just a smaller version living in a bigger world. Because I can't see how we have trees that are 70 miles high unless somehow there's some form of rescaling. It's almost as if we were the ones, the people that lived in the trees. And now they're all gone and we're living on the ground and we forgot them. I don't know. It seems to be alluded to a lot in movies. I'm surrounded by media all the time, and just what seems to be coded a lot of times on these, the book covers or whatever that I deal with. And I just thought it'd be, placing all these names, Cro-Magnon, placing them specifically in a period in time. And I know it's difficult because I feel like our biology has changed so much as well. What we physically look like. You look at the old paintings and the artwork of the Etruscans and the Phoenician noses. It just seems there's more modification going on in the human species than what perhaps we're alluding to. I feel like we're very much controlled by the frames of reference. I'm in a bookstore here, and if I say the word 17th century, everybody in their mind has a picture in their mind of what clothes they look like.
I got you. I understand. So I'm going to answer your question.
Go ahead.
So first of all, we have to remove the idea of linear time. You got to get it out of your mind. This is what uniformitarian does. It makes you believe in the existence of millions and millions and millions of years. And while we may have been existing that long, and we come from a world that may be that old, this experience that we're having right here doesn't go near back that far. So,
right.
Are you familiar with? I know you're familiar with what phi looks like as a linear drawing. When it's it's one big half circle that all of a sudden gets smaller and smaller and smaller, like a snail shell.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that, right? Well, let me explain something to you. So there is before 3895 BC. 3895 BC is when we find mankind literally naked. Adam and Eve, this is the story. So it's a huge Genesis reset. But I have explained this in the past, that prior to 3895 BC seems to be background programming involving the Nemesis Cataclysm in 5239 BC. What's really compelling is we know that 2178 AD on the 138-year patterning of the Phoenix, 2178 is the end. It's the full systemic reset. It's a loop back to the beginning. And I've always wondered where in the beginning that would be. But what's really interesting is that this period of time from 5239 BC to 3895 BC, if you just go 1 year before, which is 40 BC, and you go 1 year after the reset, 3894 BC, you have 1,346 years. The reason this is interesting is because 1,346 years times phi, the golden proportion 1.618 is 2178. 2178 is our systemic reset. So in the Archaix model, we are on a loop between 3895 BC, which is year one of the Anno Mundi calendar, all the way to 2178. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it answers your question. Who are the Cro-Magnon? I have explained that the Magdalenian Cro-Magnon are nothing but post-reset us. They're us. They had trousers. They had button-down jeans, pants. They have been found with all the modern utensils. They are a true enigma. And what's crazy about it is their anatomy shows that they're nothing like Neanderthal. These were a sedentary people who lost their entire world. They were the survivors. That's why they're found in the caves. And the only thing they had left to their utility was their artisticness. That's why Cro-Magnon art is proportionate. It's not like other ancient art. It's not like pictograms and silly pictures. It is beautiful, anatomically correct paintings of animals, things that were in their world because they were sophisticated. They didn't have anything left but art. Everything was lost. But they are us in the near future after we reset and we loop back to 3895 BC. They even use the protuberances on the cave walls to get 3D effects with their artwork. They were very sophisticated, but anatomically, anthropologists tell us that whoever these people were, it took a long time of technologically advanced development for them to get the way they were, because they were nothing like Cro-Magnon. Cro-Magnon were designed to live in the wild. They were feral. They were almost beast-like, but not Cro-Magnon. They were very sophisticated Homo sapiens sapiens. So to answer your question, when we look back at the past and we find all these evidence of Cro-Magnon, especially the Magdalenian branch of Cro-Magnon around the Mediterranean, we're looking at a post-reset society. We're not looking at the birth of civilization. We're looking at a civilization in the throes of death. These were the sole survivors. And just like the book of Revelation says, where do all the people go during the reset when the world's falling apart? They hide in the mountains and in the caves. And this is exactly where we find them in the historical record. But instead of finding simplified Neolithic Stone Age people, we find advanced people who seem to have lost everything. So to answer your question, we're on a loop, and every time the loop starts, a different race gets a shot at basically being a run at what's going on. The other races, residuum of them, are still here, and this is where the Mayan Popol Vuh comes in, because it describes that. It describes resets, and every time a reset happens, the gods install a new race made out of new materials, and they sit back and they watch how this new race is going to go. And if they don't like it, they reset them too, and they introduce a new race. This is in the Mayan Popol Vuh. So I hope that answers your question as far as the time periods, because we're not dealing with 10,000 BC. We're not dealing with anything that old. We're on a program.
But so you're saying the Cro-Magnons, you say, I understand what you're saying about there being post-reset. Are they post-reset coming out of the capture of Luna? Are they post-reset coming out from 3895 BC?
The Nemesis Cataclysm, 5239 BC, followed by the very first appearance of Phoenix in 4309 BC, followed by the capture flood. When the moon first appeared, is all background programming outside this loop. It is, listen, think of phi, the curve of history, and then there's one loop that goes back. That one loop that goes back, I just told you, is 1,346 years. That loop to Adam and Eve from the Nemesis Cataclysm is through 1,346 years. That 1,346 year loop times phi, 1.618, the golden mean, provides us the date 2178. Then, once we're at 2178, it loops inward. It doesn't go back to 5239 BC. It loops inward. It begins the phi cycle. Now it's at 3894 BC. Then it loops again. It loops again. It loops again. The last time it looped was our year 522 AD, which started the Dark Ages. We're on a looping protocol that gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And the last time that this loop cycle began, it was 522 AD. And the world builders coming out of the Dark Ages that lasted for 3 years were the Vikings. This was the last cycle. This is the cycle we're on right now. And it ends in 2178. And it's going to loop again. But that loop's going to be even ever smaller. This is the cycle we're on, and it's in proportions of phi. We're like going through, history's like a Mandelbrot set. We're literally going smaller and smaller. We're not just on a phi loop, but it's a phi loop that's also moving forward. So the true proportion is 1.618 times 3.1416, which provides us curvature, which is 5.08. This is history. We are literally moving forward in a spiral that gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But every time we hit a certain area of loop, we recycle back, but we don't recycle back near as far as we started.
Right. So do you think that cycle that's smaller in time could also be smaller in sense of scale? Like humanity gets smaller.
That's an interesting concept, but it looks like the opposite is true. It looks like the smaller, the more compressed the timeline, the more information is perceived, because we have so many souls in the construct. We have so many different ideologies, so many philosophies, so many different religions. We have more now today than we ever did in the past that we know in recorded history. So many different cultures, so many different languages. It seems like the more abbreviated the loop, I don't want to say a timeline. Everybody's stuck on timelines. I've already abandoned that because they're loops.
Right.
And when every loop hits 2178, it automatically resets, but not near as far back in the past as the previous cycle. Every cycle is diminutive. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller till we hit critical mass. And then I think every time we hit that loop, it's like a exodus for a bunch of souls that have graduated that cycle. It's time for them to go. But there's others who have not grown, they haven't matured, they haven't learned anything, they haven't done anything. Then that reset is designed for them to start over, but it's a system of equity. They don't start back way at the beginning. They get to start on a much more abbreviated timeline because they've already endured one timeline. Now the next timeline is much shorter for them. Then the one after that's much shorter for them. And I don't believe the same souls have gone through every timeline. I believe these are exodus apertures where souls get out. But in the chronology of the world, as I've recorded in Chronicon, you can see this arithmetic. It is not coincident that the year before the timeline began, 5239 BC, the year before was 5240 BC. And the first year of the new world, Adam and Eve timeline of the vapor canopy pre-flood world was 3894 BC. That is exactly 1,346 years. And that beginning loop, which starts the smaller phi loop, that beginning loop, if all you have to do is take 1,346, multiply it by phi, 1.618, and you will get 2178. This tells us that the immortal looping number of 2178 is the key. All timelines collapse on that, but each timeline gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. We're on a pretty short one right now.
No, that's good. No, you've answered it. That's good, because I've heard you refer to it as background programming before, but I always wondered why we never loop back right to 5239. So that makes sense. To be able to see it in like a diagram is a good thing. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw it out because you asked, and I don't know why I haven't already done a chart like that, but it's gonna be a beautiful chart. You're just gonna see phi. You're gonna see the whole chart's gonna be one phi symbol, and then I'm gonna show you the dates of how it works and where we are in that cycle, and how 2178 is the key. It's the immortal looping number.
That'd be great. All right, Jason. Well, thank you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. It takes questions to inspire something constructive. I would have never done this chart had you not asked that question.
Well, sometimes you spit out so many things. It's connecting dots, piecing them together, and but yeah, every little bit helps. Your charts are really useful. So,
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, sir. Well, I appreciate it. I'll let you go and have somebody else on. Thank you, and I'll try and be back at some point.
Yeah. Well, next time on the East Coast, I hope we meet.
All righty. Take it easy. Thank you, sir.
You too. Man, I'm glad he asked that question. That is going to be a fantastic chart. And if you'll just send me $19.99, I'll make sure you get. I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. That's a good chart. I'm excited to draw that one. I'm going to draw that one. I'm going to do the old style pen and ink. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. So let me check my chat. I got Mr. White coming in next. Andy. I'll check my email too. Oh, I got more people in my email wanting to come in. Oh, that's Clay's Pigeon. Dave. I will send the let me check my chat real quick. See, man, sometimes it takes these questions to draw this information. What's readily in my mind, sometimes I think I describe it with clarity. Other time, and you know what? Maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't. And that's why this video was necessary. I need you guys to see exactly what I'm describing. I can show it to you with the calculator. I can show it to you with all these linear graphs and charts. You know, I can sit here and get up here and just give you huge monologues on world history. And in my mind, it's absolutely clear why at this juncture there was the Gihon flood at 3439 BC, and Enoch and Enki appear, and Oannes and Vulcan. It's all the same individual. Then I can explain exactly why we have all this source material from the ancient world that specifically dates 2239 BC, or the year 1656 of the old world's calendar, as the great flood of Noah. Not when there was an ark with 8 souls, but when there were fleets of arks from probably eight cultures or 8 cities, and how they survived. Then the Ogygian deluge of 1687 BC, which started the great 25-year darkness that was recorded in both hemispheres. So I've talked about these ad nauseum, but I don't know why I never described it that way when I have it in my notes that way. The history is like a giant snail shell. So, but yeah. And I got it in my notes too, all about the first 1,346 years actually encoding 2178. So I don't know why I haven't. Like I said, it takes questions to draw a lot of this information out. Sometimes I think I've conveyed things and I haven't. Sometimes I have, and they're just deeply buried in my books. All right, let's see. Checking my chat. Yeah, man. So where we got? Chris, you coming in? Looks like you got your mic turned off.
Hi.
There you go. Hey, man, what's up, bud?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You look like the old Jason about to do a van vlog. Yeah, man.
I was working right now. So I'm a big coffee drinker, right? And how do you drink your huariche?
Yo quiero mi huariche muy caliente.
No, I mean, like, do you drink it black or with honey, with cinnamon?
You know what? It all goes by my mood. 90% of the times that I'm drinking coffee, it's absolutely black. And I experiment with different coffee beans and all that. But yes, I'm going to tell you now, toward the evening time, because I'm a all-day drinker. Toward the evening time, if I haven't switched over to a shot or two of bourbon to shut my mind down so I can go to sleep, what I'll do is I will put honey. I will put honey in my coffee, different tinctures in my coffee, and then I'll put a shot of bourbon with it, and then I'll go to sleep. That's at night.
You know, I'm a long time listener. This is my second time calling, and I always see you drinking coffee, and I'm a big coffee drinker myself. And I'm from Texas as well. So, you know, I always think to myself, like, man, how's he drink his coffee? But so some of my questions are more like seeking your opinion, really.
Go ahead,
you know, so one of them would be who were the Moors in the timeline? Like, where did they come from? Like, when do they appear in the calendrics? Where did they go if they went anywhere at all?
We want to stick with that question first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very aware that there's a push. Yes. There's a push in social media to basically claim the Moors were far more expansive and more to do with world history than they actually were. So there was a good 4.5-5 century period where they were in their ascendant because Islam was ruling over half of Europe. And they had done this from the militant Moors. But the Moors are literally coming out of Mauritania. You know where Mauritania is, right?
No.
It's North Africa. It's North Africa. And North Africa wasn't Islamic. It was forced to be Islamic. You know, when the Saracens went into all the North African, Libya, Morocco, Mauritania, Libya, all this whole North African coast, when they originally did that, it was very easy to convert the whole entire population from Christianity to Islam. It was very easy because they went in with their armies, the Saracens, and they took several people from each community and didn't even ask any questions and just chop one of their hands off or one of their feet off. Some people died from that, some people didn't. But when the rest of the community realized the only thing I have to do to stop from getting my hand chopped off or my right foot chopped off, all I have to do is convert to Islam. What do you think they did? So this is the origin of the Moors. The Moors were not willing participants originally. They were militarized, and it was interbreeding as well. Then they were used as a major military engine against Europe. And this was done by basically Arabia, and they were the weapon of Islam. So the Moors did take over a whole lot of Europe, but a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in social media is not true about how the Moors had this massive foundation in America, how they ran the whole, basically did all the things Genghis Khan did. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. They do have a place in history, and it was all throughout Europe. But it was anything beyond that I'm not seeing, man. I don't see anywhere. I have a real problem with some of this moral research that's out there.
Yes, it's funny you said, because I see it, and instinctively I reject a lot of what's being said. But it's I was curious to know, what would your opinion be as like it's not true, like they came in later, or they weren't really the original Americans, or like from this land or whatever. But I'm glad you expanded on that. How are you doing with trying to get Pierre Sabak onto your show?
You know what? The only reason he hasn't been on the show is because I haven't emailed him. I don't think. I kind of have a problem with inviting. If somebody is an author, I don't care if they're not an author. I'll invite them quick, fast, and hurry. But if they're an author, like with John Lamb Lash, I'm not going to have somebody who has literally spent their time, resources, and their life putting together a very well-written book with a really good bibliography. I'm not going to invite them into my channel until I've at least read one of their books. I have 2 Pierre Sabak books on my shelf, and they're on my to-do list. I haven't read them yet, and I don't want to invite him until I've dignified him with being able to discourse about what he's written about, whether I agree with it or not. That's the only reason Pierre Sabak has not been invited to my channel. I have not yet read one of his books all the way through. I did read 4 chapters in the book on our holographic or simulation universe, but that's the answer to your question. Once I'm finished with one of his books, he will definitely be invited. Whether he comes or not, I don't know. But yeah, he's certainly somebody I would like to talk to.
Well, it was through one of your videos from a long time ago, where you had mentioned that book that you were trying to mention. I think it's Holographic Culture, and the other one is The Murder of Reality. I've never read those books.
Yes, The Murder of Reality. I'm on chapter 4. Yes.
Right.
That's the one. It's not the other one. It's The Murder of Reality.
It was thanks to you that I was put onto him, and I searched him out, saw that he had a few YouTube videos on, and I saw 1 or 2 of them, and he's very thorough with his language, right? Like he breaks down the language and whatnot, and he mentions a lot of interesting things that you briefly touch upon, and recently, like you've been touching upon here and there. The whole reptilian thing, which is it kind of honestly, since I'm a longtime listener of yours, it kind of threw me off, not because you mentioned it, but it was I'm not sure what to think about that, and I guess I'm assuming that you believe in that or not.
What exactly did he say before I say yes or no?
Oh well. Whatever he says, I don't even know really too well, because he breaks down like words, and he eventually comes up to saying stuff like the word, let's say Sephiroth means means jinn, which means viper like, which then he brings up the word like reptilian like or whatever, reptilian. So
okay, well, I can see the association. I'm not an etymologist, but I will tell you this. Sephiroth in Hebrew has a root word, Sephir, the same one in Seraphim, which was
Yes.
fiery angel. Sometimes it
Right.
was a fiery angel that was associated to reptiles. So this is where you get your fire salamanders from. So I see the association. I don't know what he's talking about. I still have to read it.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, I guess
we
to
don't
be
have
more
to agree.
specific. No, yeah. To be more specific towards you, like I was interested if you believe that basically there's a species of I guess humans that shapeshift or can shape change right now in this present field.
Well, you know what? I had to eat crow. I don't know if you've seen the video. I don't know how caught up you are, but I have always been staunchly against the shapeshifter narrative, even though I did tell my community multiple times I have a deep appreciation for the old David Icke. I am not impressed with the current David Icke.
Right.
But
Right.
the old David Icke educated me, woke me up, realized what kind of effed up world I was in, and sent me on my way. Hurt my feelings, broke me out of Christianity, and I will always give him credit for that. Now, I have outgrown David Icke as he stands today, and that's cool too. We always many people have outgrown me and just moved on, and that's good. But in answer to your question, I had to eat crow because I now believe the shapeshifter narrative is real. It is. And I believe it has everything to do with the Nemesis X tertiary and the convergence fields. I believe it's been staring us in the face all along. But as someone who takes great value in being able to verify data points in order to put together data sets that must have very tight bibliographies, and those in your source materials must say exactly what you're saying. For me to have put together all this material, shapeshifters never came I never come into contact with any of this in the historical record, except for one vague reference in one of the Dead Sea Scrolls about shape shifting and about a lizard faces on different individuals. But other than that, I've found it nowhere. But I do see it in the effigies and the art of ancient Mesopotamia. They have it. They've got lizard faced, gods, demons, and stuff like that. And it's also in Mesoamerica, really big in the pre-Toltec Mesoamerican cultures. Pre-Toltec being Zapotec, it's real big in their art, real big in the Ecuadorian art. We don't even know what cultures those were. It's real big in the of course the Mayan and the Olmec. But yeah, I've had to eat crow. I've had to change my mind about that because the data shows us, yeah, man, what the elite are doing today and demon face syndrome and the stuff I found out about the vax and snake venom, and especially the Nemesis X tertiary field and how its parthenogenetic changes in amphibians, reptiles, and avians and eggs. This changes everything. That means shapeshifters do have a place in the historical narrative, and that place is outside this construct. It's somewhere else. But for some reason, some of them got deposited here during one of the Nemesis X tertiary field or convergence field events, and they stayed here. But once the tertiary field is gone and the effect of Nemesis X proximity, and Nemesis X is a plane, just like the terrarium we're on is a plane, Terra. These aren't planets we're dealing with. We're dealing with fields. Fields are planes. So sometime in the past, some of them were marooned here because they would probably prefer to be in Nemesis X because that's where they're at their ascendant. And every 792 years, when the Nemesis X plane overlays our own, that's when they can't shapeshift. That's when it's impossible to pretend to be human because now the Nemesis X tertiary field makes reptiles and amphibians and avians at the ascendant. This is why during those periods, chicken eggs hatch into velociraptors. And this is why we have this reoccurring pattern. What the Uniformitarians call dinosaurs is actually a pattern that happens over and over and over and over. It's happening all throughout the historical record, as I've documented in Archaics. So I'm going to say yes, the shapeshifter phenomenon it also makes sense of the alien card that they're going to pull. Because they're going to have to gaslight the public and tell the public that look, the sun going dark and the moon turning red and these rocks falling from the sky is not an accident. Our world has been attacked by an extraterrestrial species and they're trying to terraform. So when the vapor canopy comes back, humans are going to have an explanation. It's not going to be the truth that we're on a vapor canopy ice age natural cycle. That's the truth. We're going to be gaslit into believing that we're being attacked by aliens, and it's going to bring the whole world together under one leader. Everybody's going to throw away their national, ethnic, little idiosyncrasies. Everybody's going to be wearing the same uniform. It's going to be us against them, and they're going to give us this whole narrative that, hey man, they're terraforming. That's what the Phoenix phenomenon is. They're just terraforming our world. It was a weapon. That's why the sun went dark, and now we have this very vapor canopy. They want their world. They want our world to look just like theirs, so they can come out. And then all these reptilian shapeshifters are not able to shapeshift no more. So when you see them, they're going to come out as the good aliens, and they're going to help us defend ourselves against the bad aliens that are terraforming. They're going to gaslight the shit out of us, and it's all in preparation. It's all in preparation for 2046, the return of Nemesis X.
Right. Well, I did have an incident once in my life, not too like maybe 3-4 years ago, where I believe I've probably even seen one, because about 3 feet away from me there was a person I hadn't met for like a month, and towards the end of that of our meeting, his mouth, it was a male and a female, their mouths had like changed. And they were like just 3 feet away from me. And when I saw that, I was kind of like shocked, like to the point where I really couldn't speak well. But the only response that I got from him was that his was his words, and I relate this message to other family members of mine, and which was all he said was, I'm just here to bear witness, and that's it. And that was all he had said when I saw this person change, the face change. So for years I was like, why would he say that? Why would this person say that only? And it kind of, to me, I make sense of it now as to see my response, to see what would be a human's response to seeing a species like that, I guess, in real life sometime soon. But anyways, it's interesting. I just wanted to know your opinion on that. And one more thing, if this reality is pretty much like a false reality, it's just fake, it's a program, we're in a construct, why would the tiny hats, I'm not even sure what's their whole history like that, but why would the tiny hats make some sort of contract or a covenant with whatever and have an inheritance of this world if it's fake, if it's not everlasting, if it's not real? Why would they?
I didn't say, hey, okay, we need to separate paradigms. We need to separate paradigms. I like where you're going. I like the thinking you're going on. But you're also bridging two things that are diametrically opposed. First of all, that a biosphere is artificial. It's a simulacrum, meaning it's just a copy of somewhere that is real. It is that's something that is truly exists elsewhere. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's just because it's fake doesn't mean it's not forever. I have said over and over and over, this is a school for souls to pass through. A school has a continued use. Remember the analogy I gave about God being eternal? Have you ever heard that analogy?
That God is eternal?
Yes. What have you ever followed the logic? Listen to me.
I'm listening.
If we accept the existence of a higher power, I call it the oversoul. You can call it whatever you want. So if we accept the idea that God or the oversoul is God, well, we know that God is unending. Well, an unending God is therefore eternal. Eternal means that God has had no beginning and no end. If the oversoul is eternal, then that means every aspect of that entity must be eternal as well. If that God that is eternal in all its aspects decided to create sparks, which are nothing but fractions of the whole, pieces of the oversoul sent into its own creation in order that it can experience it, and yet do so from a unique objective experience of creating unique spiritual personalities that are independent of the oversoul and yet still moored to it. It sends these sparks through these experiences, these worlds that it has created. So if God is eternal, then that means the creation is a continuum. It's not an instant. There was never a singularity where everything was created. It was always in a state of flux. This is what eternal is. So if God is eternal, then that means the creation is unending. If the creation is unending, there's always newer souls being put through newer and newer constructs. If this system is going on, then that means there's a multiplicity of worlds, a multiplicity of experiences. There's no end to the worlds that are being designed that need to be stewarded. So you may be in charge of your own simulacrum in the future once you've experienced enough of them that you become a steward of the whole. Right now, you're just a student. Do you follow me? If creation is unending, there's no end to the souls that are needed to help steward new creations. It never stops. So
what do you think prompted the tiny hats to even be
that's,
like,
that's what I'm gonna go there. That's a beautiful question because it fits a lot. I'm talking about it is literally the other side of the coin. So I'm going to tell you something that you can verify for yourself. When you study the Old Testament, which is basically the template for everything Jewish, there are additions to the Torah as well, called the Talmud, called the Targums, like the Babylonian and the Jonathan Targum. You got your rabbinical literature, but these are all extensions of the original source. The original source is the demon that came out of the burning bush and gave them a new covenant. When a new covenant wasn't even necessary, they already had a covenant, which was the Brahmic covenant, later became Abraham. It was originally the Brahmic covenant. That covenant is the covenant for mankind outside the Jewish context. But the Jews have this Yahwistic, this Yahweh covenant, and you can verify this. They are given hundreds of promises. If they'll do this, they'll get this, this, and this. If they'll do this, they'll get this, 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 and this, and this. If they'll do this, they'll get this. If they'll do this, they'll get this, 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 and this. It's hundreds of stipulations, and they all come with promises all throughout Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. You can verify this yourself. The Jewish people signed that contract by their belief and their continued practice in the observance of those festivals and those rituals. This is what they've accepted to be true. But when you read those promises, you will find out there isn't a single time anywhere in the Old Testament that God promised the Jews a life after death. It's nowhere. Everything is you will have full containers of milk. You will have gold in your coffers. You will have other races as your slaves, and you will take their wives and daughters as your own. You will spill the blood of your enemies. You will take their cities. You will be kings, and you'll have goyim. No man will be powerful enough to move your boundary stone. If you submit to my yoke and you do these things, you will dash the babies' heads of your enemies' babies' heads on stones, and you will overthrow the yokes of your enemies. If you will do this, there's nothing in the Old Testament where you can find that Yahweh ever promised life after death. That's the contract they signed.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. Well, before I go, I just want to compliment you on your. I believe it was your last guest you had on. I think his name was C something, CJT or something like that. But
Yeah,
I think that you had I believe that that was a good little show, and you did a good job in hosting him, and the dialogue between both of you guys was incredible. I learned a lot from both of y'all, and I hope you have more informative shows like that.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna have some really unique minds on the show. I got people I want to talk to, and
Right.
we don't even have to agree. There are people that are providing value on YouTube. I'm gonna tell you somebody I'm impressed with. I like David Dubine. I'm gonna invite him, or I'm gonna come on his channel or whatever. But also, what's the guy that on YouTube? I don't know if you guys watch him or not, but he reminds me a lot of Adam Green, but he has a lot more material than Adam Green. He covers many topics. His YouTube channel is called Myth Vision. I really like that guy too. Myth Vision podcast. You might want to check him out. But I have a lot of people that I want to invite to my channel just to have discussions. They don't have to agree. I would like to have GG Young. I would like to have GG Young on my channel. We don't agree on anything, but I still think it would be a very valuable conversation. Yeah. We agree that we are spiritual beings, and that's about it between GG Young and I, but I would still have her on my channel.
All right, man. Well, be safe and enjoy your time here.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the conversation, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right. Who else we got back here? So I got in my notes right here, I got this chart. That's a real good one there. I'll be doing that chart. Let me drop a few more links. I'm going to bring Mr. White in. Mr. White's next. But let me go ahead and drop these links in this chat real quick. Yeah, some of y'all didn't know about that 1,346 actually in another dimension of arithmetic being the number 2178. That changes everything about the Adam and Eve story. That shows us the loop. 1,346 years is actually 2178, but when it loops back, you already know 2178 is the end of the timeline. It's the end of the timeline every single time. But every time there's a loop back, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Yep. Yeah, man. I'm going to tell you now, the general public is never going to accept the archaic tenets. It's never going to happen. There is no way. You have to have an open mind. You have to be a critical thinker. You have to really see the data. You can't just accept it. Those of you, my archaics veterans that have gone through the material, you've seen how meticulously recorded all this is. You get it. Those in my cipher community that realize that this number, phi and pi in tandem with curvature 5.08, you guys know, man, how it has predictive value. It is the core programming of the construct itself. So this is it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But the general public is never going to get these things. Uniformitarianism promotes the exact opposite of what archaics shows and demonstrates to be true. Yeah, the two cannot coexist at all. You must abandon one to believe the other. There's no bridging. There's no bridging them at all. None. Okay, I just sent that to John Void. Mr. Wolf. Oh, Sons of Jupiter. Seen that before a time or two. I'm dropping these links. I got more emails in. Yeah, man. Dropping these links. Clay's Pigeon. You got that link. Such a cool name. Let's see here. Oh, is that one of my moderators? One of my moderators wants in here? Should I say her name out loud? Let's see. All right, I'm dropping several links, so some people should start popping in. Yeah, man. Mr. White, I'll bring you in real quick. I check my phone real quick. Man, oh man. All right. Okay, so I sent all those. Done. John Void popped in. Mr. White, aka Andy.
Hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you good. Great.
That's awesome. Oh man, so good to meet you. You've blown my mind so many times over the last 4 years, I guess. And I'm really I'm on board with pretty much everything you've presented. And you're the first person that has been able to, refine it down into something that actually, they're heavy duty concepts, but with your calendrics, you basically, you know, figured it out and you made it easy for us. And it wasn't easy at first. When I first listened to you, I'd get really confused, especially when you'd be going fast and you'd have all these dates and I'd get lost in it. But it was always like, it was always really interesting. I was into it. And so now I'm finally I'm finally being like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I know what that is. But my question for you is, I wanted to talk to you about a couple things, but my question really is, where do you want to be? Where are you planning to be as 2040 is rolling up on us? Because it's not a lot of time. And what goes along with that question is there something else that you see yourself doing before, you know, between now and then?
Okay. Listen, these are good questions. These are good questions. I see the first of all, concerning 2040, I'm going to let the oversoul decide exactly what my coordinates are going to be, because there's going to be things that develop in my life that it's going to be the oversoul. These are going to be instructional to me as to, it's going to guide me what to do. I'm not going to plan for a negative. I'm not going to prepare for a negative.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Yeah, we're too powerful. We can literally change the dynamics of our life overnight. All it takes is one sleep cycle. That's all it takes. You know, people think they can change their life in the middle of a day. It's not possible. I'm always going to tell you it's not possible to do it in the middle of the day, unless you had actually done it over the previous sleep cycle. But you can change the trajectory of tomorrow by doing something today, but it's going to require that sleep cycle in order for you to see that change, because this is a simulation. And as long as it's simulated, it's computerized. And even if it's far beyond what we understand as a computer to be today, with diodes and transistors and capacitors, and even it may be something far beyond all that, it still needs an ebb and flow period. It still needs a time where right now I'm interfacing with it, but there's still going to have to come a time where I power down. When the avatar powers down, that's when it's 100% interfacing with its environment, the construct. This is REM sleep. That's why the eyes are moving. You got trillions of images and messages and signals coming from the construct and jacking into the avatar. And there's an exchange of information from the avatar educating the construct as to what you intend to do. And that's what builds your tomorrow. But it's at that time that the true you is not even here. You're not here. If you were here, you would remember your sleep, but you don't remember your sleep. You're sleeping. You're not even here. You're somewhere else. So what I'm saying is I'm not going to prepare for a negative, because it's going to introduce negativity into my life. But that's 2040. I'm just going to let the oversoul guide me where I need to be for 2040. But as far as where I see myself in the next few years in the trajectory of Archaics, I'm going to use common sense. Common sense dictates that I'm going to come under heavy attack. Common sense tells me that the time is approaching where they're going to make a multi-pronged attack against Archaics, against the concepts, against me personally. They're going to literally try to dismantle all my material. They're going to send every expert they have I'm telling you, it's going to come to that. Because more and more people are waking up and gravitating. Archaics isn't just on YouTube. We're spread. We got groups we have think tanks and groups all over the world now, participating in all kinds of different activities, and it's just growing. People are now doing their own meetups in other countries, and this is not something that can contain. Me calling out all these shills and all these people that have been promoting all this BS, and not one of them coming to the table to respond to my accusations. Listen. This only means there's going to come a near future. They're going to attack me for my past, for my criminal history, mistakes I made as a child. They're going to attack me for imprisonment. They're going to attack me for everything. They're going to smear my name. They're going to drag me through the mud. They're going to do every single thing they can to stop the public from listening to the material that I'm revealing. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I foresee. I also foresee, barring they just put a bullet in my face, that I'm going to survive every bit of that, and I'm going to thrive. I foresee that as well.
Well, if they put a bullet in your face, think like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He just grows stronger.
Yeah,
it's like and grows stronger if that was to happen. But I mean, I'm glad you're not a doomsayer, and I don't look at what's coming in 2040 or 2046 as a bad thing. I actually, because I'm almost your age. I'm a little bit older actually, and so I've lived a life, and I had a lot of shit go down and survived it, and I know that this is I'm learning things here that I'm supposed to take with me when I exit, and I'm cool with that. That's I get that. I want to ask you about because you were talking with the last guy about, you touched on it, the reptilians, and the reason that on the screen there, that eyeball under with my above my name, if you look at it really close, that's not my picture. That's somebody else. It's a famous guy. It's a famous guy, an actor, and that everybody knows and everybody used to love. And some of them still do, and some of them don't. But look at that thing. That's a lizard eye. Yeah. And and I've been around that guy because I live in LA, and I used to work and make movies, and I worked for a really big celebrity, and I signed NDAs, so I can't, just come out and say who it is, but a very famous person. And this person, I used to have to spend a lot of time around him and in his presence. And I swear this dude could read people's minds, and it was very, very weird. And so that stuff's real. I mean,
so I want to address that.
Yeah.
First of all, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me it was Tom Hanks. So,
that's a big fucking bullseye on that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even be surprised you're telling. Because listen, if he was reptilian and lizard, it wouldn't even surprise me. But I have a feeling. I have this feeling that these shapeshifter reptilians that can read people's minds, there are some of us that they will never come around, because equally so, just like they can read our minds, they can't even hide from some of us because we're vibrating on a frequency that is so alien to them that they're exposed to it.
Spot on, dude. 100%. And so Tom Hanks is the guy in that photo, but the guy I worked for is a legend, man. You think of a cowboy tough guy, the toughest. He's still alive. He's very, very old, and and he is known for being, when this dude's mad at you, he's very quiet, but he would morph. His head, his face, and his eyes would morph, and before I even knew
I've seen that guy's face morph in spaghetti westerns.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Boy, I got to tell you, there's nothing like driving home after that guy's whispered at you in a negative way.
Yeah, man.
Freeway and traffic go, damn it. Yeah, so that dude used to absolutely scan the room sometimes and know things and give off a vibe. But he wasn't mean or anything. He was cool. Check it out. Here is what I really wanted to ask you is it's about Nemesis and Phoenix.
Sure.
And okay, so Nemesis is the dark star that with the tertiary field kind of that comes. It has its own orbit that we are a part of only sometimes, and when we're not in the whatever you call it, orbit that we're in with our regular sun,
right?
The sun we know, and so that's Nemesis, and then Phoenix. I really want to know what Phoenix. I want to try and understand what Phoenix is, because I know about So
we're dealing with protocols that govern over and basically sustain a terrarium. The terror where we are. What does Phoenix bring? Very enriched red dust, red rain, red muds deposited all over the world.
I see.
What does Phoenix do? It causes liquefaction and mud floods. What does that do? Volcanic resurfacing. Phoenix always brings renewal to the surface by burying pre-existing worlds. It just keeps pancaking, keep burying this. Phoenix does. It's always depositing this material all over our world. That's not what Nemesis does. Nemesis X is always changing what's here. It's not bringing anything. It's changing what's already here. Like that little green lizard on your picket fence has the same DNA as a dinosaur. I'm just calling it a dinosaur, but it's really just a giant reptile. So Nemesis X seems to activate latent gene sequences that are in ordinary avians, reptiles, and amphibians and fish, and during those 60-year convergence fields, literally creates a whole new world full of all kinds of things that we don't want around us. So we retreat to the same places we've always retreated to, and that's why all these megalithic cyclopean cities that have been found at high altitudes away from valleys, way up here in the mountains and impossible places, they always show multiple levels of occupation. It's always
Okay.
been a mystery. It's always been a mystery.
Okay.
This is where we defend ourselves. This is where we go, because they can't come up there because of the altitude, because of the climate. It's different than in the jungles and in the valleys and the temperate forest and all that. That's where all these giant life forms stay. They stay at the lower altitudes. Humans survive at the higher altitudes, and they forage. The hunting parties go out. They go kill their velociraptors and their stegosauruses, and they come back and bring the meat.
Okay, so that Nemesis, it basically churns us up, and then Phoenix sometimes adds fertilizer, and it makes everything that's organic seem real, but none of it's real, right? We're still in some sort of program type. It all sounds very organic. Especially the fact that.
Well, let's clarify. Let's clarify.
Yeah.
I can go in my garden right now and stick my hand straight into a bucket full of pure loam, beautiful black soil that I can use on tomatoes. I can use on radishes. I can all that. Okay. From the perspective of our experience, of course it's real. It's real because I'm interfacing through an avatar that's also a part of the construct. Only from an intellectual perspective can we really say all of this is simulated. And that's only because we actually understand what's going on. We understand that we are independent of our body. We are something other than our body. So what is our body? Our body is a vehicle made out of the same materials as the construct. It allows us to experience and move through the construct. And it interfaces with, there's an exchange of information between the avatar and the construct itself. However, from an intellectual perspective, we understand, okay, man, this is all an artificial reality. But for all intents and purposes, while you're subjectively experiencing it, it's very real to us. So the Phoenix phenomenon every 138 years is real. The Nemesis convergence field every 792 years that lasts for 60 years because it's aphelion is 732 years. But for 60 years, every time it starts this parthenogenetic change all throughout the world. It's during those 60-year periods that started every calendar in the ancient world. That's why the Sumerian, the Egyptian, and the Chinese calendars, they're very oldest systems of reckoning for all 60-year periods. They were scared of this period of time. And if you remember correctly, the earliest Sumerian seals have lizard men on them. If you remember correctly, the pre-Sumerians were the Ubayyads, and they all have lizard figurines. And if you remember correctly, the Egyptians were very anthropomorphic, giving all kinds of animal faces to all their gods. And these are the oldest timekeeping systems, the oldest cultures. The Chinese, they venerated the dragon kings. Dragons are just reptiles. So. Oh, yeah, we can't get caught up in the dichotomy of artificial and real. For us, it's real. When I say simulation, that's only from an intellectual perspective, because we know that the more we magnify base reality isn't even there. The more we look at anything in an electron microscope, the more we realize, holy shit, there's nothing even there oscillating oscillating fields. When you concentrate on an oscillating field, there's vast distances between the other oscillating fields. It's only when you demagnify that all these oscillating fields start coming closer and closer together through distance, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The more you allow the macrocosm to get, the microcosm to get smaller and smaller and smaller, the denser it is, it becomes real to us. But by observing it and magnifying it, you see the vast distances between what we like to call atoms, but atoms don't exist. These are oscillating fields. You magnify an oscillating field, you find out it's nothing but energy. It's just an oscillating field of energy. Therefore, we can intellectualize and know that this experience is fake. It's not even here. It's a perceived experience, not an actual experience. But for all intents and purposes, everything you've experienced here is still real.
Yeah, is your soul, your consciousness, are they the same thing, or are they? Is one a tool of the other? And or like when you, like you said, when you go to sleep, that's the only way you can affect what's going on in here.
Yeah.
So when you disconnect from your avatar, what?
So I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question. It's like a first principle question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a question back at you, and maybe you'll bridge the two. So when you're asleep, are you exercising imagination, empathy, intuition, and humor? Are you actually consciously using humor, intuition, imagination, and empathy while you're in a deep sleep?
I would say on a regular basis, no, but sometimes I dream.
I'm not talking about dreams.
Okay, then the answer is no.
Well, to me, that's the answer to your question. That means you're not here. You're somewhere else. You're not here. You're not here when you're asleep. You're somewhere else.
With that, I'm totally on board with that. Last thing I want to say is I've been doing an experiment with Easter eggs, sending myself, like connecting to the oversoul or the construct even, and sending myself Easter eggs just to see if I can affect what's going on in here on a personal basis, in a meaningful way. And meaning, I set, on my first experiment, I said, okay, the Easter egg that's going to come up in my daily experience, it's going to happen while I'm driving around Los Angeles, because I'm driving around all the time. So the theme is a giant clam, and anything the Easter eggs are all going to have to do with something about like a shell or a giant clam related to that. And it's been working. It's really freaky, very, very freaky. Do you do that, or have you ever tried to do it? And do you think that it can be used in a way that could benefit yourself? Because I know lessons into action. I've been trying to take what you say about connecting, and working with the construct to change your life, because I want to do things better. So I'm just trying to affect change, and so the Easter egg was a sort of a test to see how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to ask the question differently, and I think there's feedback on your end, because there's a lot of. Anytime I'm speaking, there's a lot of noise coming from you.
I hear that too. All of a sudden, it's really weird. I didn't touch anything.
Okay, you don't have the volume up on your phone?
No, but
right.
I mean, I'll talk lower. But so you brought up the chick in the red dress in the Matrix, and how that's the simulation, trying to tempt you to go with it a certain direction, or to try and knock you off of the course you were trying to go your own way, and it does that. So that's what I meant by Easter egg.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really distracted. We have a real communication problem here. It has nothing to do with you. There's a technology problem here because you on my screen are really loud when I'm talking, and I'm hearing my feedback right now.
It's a simulacrum.
Yeah, man. I don't know what this is, but it's really distracting.
Oh, I'm sorry, bud. Okay, I mean, I'll get you in the future.
I don't think it's you. Everybody in the chat is also saying it's coming from my mic, but all my mic settings are normal. They're all saying they're good. I don't know.
It sounds like it did when you had to do, you did something earlier and it fixed it. You had a weird thing going on and then you fixed it.
Well, let me explain what's happening on my end. When I'm quiet and you talk, this eye that you have, it shows, it gets bigger and smaller as you speak. This is what StreamYard does. It does it automatically when you use an icon like this. But that icon should not be moving when I'm talking. I'm talking right now and I'm watching that icon move. And that's
I see that on mine.
I don't understand how that's happening.
I see that on mine too. It's weird. When you talk, it goes, and when I talk, it goes.
Yeah, it's weird. So anyway,
it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I can't. I'm never going to make something up. I can't answer your question, man, because I just can't. You use a different term than an Easter egg.
I totally understand, man. I didn't mean to sandbag the show, but I appreciate everything you do, man. I love, man. Your body of work is amazing.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know what's going on with this interface, but it's really irritating the shit out of me now. I'm gonna go ahead and remove you to see if it stops.
All right, brother.
It's loud on my end, bro. All right. Did that correct the problem with the audio? I have no idea what happened. I've never seen that before, but it was like I was talking through his mic. Can I get it? Let me get somebody in the comment section to tell me if I'm back to normal on my audio. So weird. Everybody's telling me no. What in the F is going on? So I'm not normal. I don't know. All my settings are perfect. All right. You know what? Y'all hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Give me the good news or give me the bad news. This is entirely on StreamYard. I don't know what's going on. You are good. Thank you, guys. Cool. That he and I started off real good, but he kept asking me that question, and I'm going to tell you now that I turned the volume all the way down. It was still amplified in here so bad, and then the screen was tripping. I couldn't even concentrate on the question no more. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, it had nothing to do with him. That was on my end. Reverb is dissipated. Thank you. All right, we'll go to the next one. I believe that's John Void. Then I've got Hazy Davy. Oh, there's my old buddy, Mr. Protocol. I see him backstage. All right. What's up, John?
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, your audio is good.
Okay, so first I can acknowledge the problem for before. There was two problems. One he had the speaker of the phone, and that's why we hear your feedback. And on the top of that, after you got a little rubber problem in your phone. So it's better when they call you, if they can have headphones like I have right now, or at least they make you a question and they can mute the microphone. That would be amazing, because it's been annoying with almost all the people that called you. We had some sort of noise from their end.
Yeah, it's all right. I got it.
All right. All right.
You still there? Well, That was short-lived. John, did you mute yourself? Hello? Well, you dropped in to give me some really good advice, and then you just disappeared. I'm gonna leave him backstage. He's having I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna leave him back. I'm gonna leave him right there.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. I was about to
So the question, it was how many t-shirts you own?
Man, stop. You know what? Every 2 or 3 months, I go through my closet and
Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio, brother. We lost your audio. I think, did we lost it or I lost it? But I cannot hear you right now. Hello? Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio, brother. Yeah. We lost your audio. Yeah, we lost your audio, bro. Yeah. I think we lost his audio in the most important question of the year. I hope we're gonna get it back soon.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Hey, John.
Hey, yes. We have lost your audio for a second, and we didn't get the most important answer of the year.
All right, John. You can't hear me, man?
Now I can hear you very well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I exited. I had to exit the studio because I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but I had to exit the studio. The only way I can reset everything is just leave and come back.
As long as you come back, we're all happy, bro.
Yeah, I got a lot of t-shirts, man. There's no doubt. It's never going to end.
All right. So I have a lot of questions. So whenever you think it's too much, you just tell me and we can do some other time. The first question is a question about the third temple and about the location of the third temple, which is this Temple Mount. And like, if there is any relation or anything special about this place, being also that is the same place where like Muhammad ascended, allegedly. Like I find like it is kind of interesting that is where the Messiah is supposed to come back from, and at the same time is where like Muhammad ascended. What's the story behind that?
You need to ask an Islamicist on like these questions here. I don't know enough about Islam. I read the Quran. I read it when I was in prison, from the very back all the way to the front, all through 4 sections, all the surahs. I have a Quran right now in my library that has no surahs. It has no chapters, no surahs. It is solid. It is solid it's from 1833 or 1834, but it's a Quran in solid Arabic with English translations on the other page from back to front, the whole thing. There's no subdivisions or anything, but I don't know enough about Muhammad and all that to really, I didn't even know Muhammad had any connection whatsoever to the Temple Mount. This is the first I'm hearing. I thought his main thing was the establishment of the Umayyads and how they were hijacked by Judaism when they created the Abbasid dynasty. It's
no,
early. Go ahead.
In theory, he did ascend it from there. That's why it's the third most important holy site, and in theory, ascended from there. So I don't know. I found it like a funny coincidence that the same places where Muhammad ascended is where the Messiah has to come back. You know, like anyway, like Yeah.
Well,
Then
it's
haven't.
the same belief structure. There's really no difference between Judaism and eschatology now. It's the return of the Messiah. It's the return of the Mahdi. It's the return of. I mean, I know people take offense at this, but it's my opinion that either Islam was either founded by Jews or it was hijacked between the loss of the Umayyad dynasty and the establishment of the Baghdad Abbasid dynasty. Somewhere in there, Judaism took over after Muhammad, or maybe before Muhammad. There was a hijacking, and I don't think they're fundamentally different. I think Islam and Judaism are basically the same. They use each other. Even right now, the whole conflict in the Middle East, they're using each other. I don't see much of a difference. I'm just not a religionist anymore. I feel the same way about Christianity. It was a tool that was specifically created. It was literature that later became literal.
All right. Then, following on this line, since you mentioned the conflict, I am actually calling from Dubai right now. I came here like a couple of months ago with the idea of working and maybe. Yeah, and I wanted to ask because like the last time when you talk about the conflict, and I must say that yeah, I agree a lot with you. It does seem fishy, like they all play from the same side, at least these like four important players. I wanted to know a little bit if you can give some prediction of the Gulf in the upcoming months or year, how you see the situation in places like Dubai, the Emirates, and this.
Well, Dubai, UAE, Yemen, all that would be highly specific predictions that require me to do the calendrics on those countries. I haven't done that. I did it on Iran, and I did it on the United States, and I did them on Israel, and I released several videos in the past 3 or 4 months that go deeper and deeper on those topics. But I haven't looked at those individual countries. They could be totally different. As far as the shit going on in the Middle East, I don't see this going on for a long period of time. I believe it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all BS. They're clearing out real estate for the Greater Israel Project. And when they've cleared out the real estate they need to, the United States is going to find reasons why to pull back. They might make up. I mean, let Trump say it. He's 100% won the war, and he just pulls back because we won. But in reality, we really haven't done shit to Iran. So I'm just I'm so jaded by the whole thing. I really don't even want to try to predict.
I totally agree, and I listened the whole episode. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was like finally we got a piece of like common sense from all this conflict that basically you cannot believe absolutely anything on the news, no matter if alternative or mainstream or conspiracy. It's really difficult. I love that you said you should concentrate about the facts, and like this is all we got. I have another question. Maybe this one is a little bit stupid also, and like you don't know how to reply to it. Is why do Iranians look like Ashkenazi Jews in general?
Yeah. Not okay. This is a very unpopular position, but I'm telling you, based off of my historical research, the exilarchy has always operated out of Iran. The exilarchy are basically the highest level Jews running the show for everybody else. So you can find the term exilarchy. It just means the rulers who are in exile. So Persia has always been a place where Judaism has flourished. It has flourished, and I believe they're all crypto Jews anyway, in that are all in the Persian government. Also, if you've ever studied the Zendavesta, which is the Persian scriptures, and you've read their prophecies, their eschatology is Judaic. The Old Testament prophecies of the future of the world literally were copied straight out of the Zendavesta. So I'm not seeing that they're dissimilar. Now, Iran comes from Aryan. In ancient times, the Aryans went to all different areas, northern India. It was a branch of the Hurrians, the Hurrites. And this place here was anciently called Elam. They weren't always a captured operation, but they became one. And this is what the Book of Ruth is about. If you read the Old Testament and read the Book of Ruth, that's when the Jews took over Persia. It's literally there in the Bible when they did that. This is the origin of Purim. Purim is a Jewish holiday that literally celebrates the mass murder of Persians. It's all in the Bible. It's right there for everybody to see. So this is the Book of Ruth in the Old Testament. And it's ever since that period, 455 BC, that the exilarchy has been operating out of Persia. I still think they are. That's why I'm telling you now, Iran, Israel, and the United States are working together. And also in the backfield, Russia, China, they're all working together. We're not living in a world of competing powers anymore. That's all smoke and mirrors. The entire world is now a captured operation. Even the little satellites that are perceived to be enemies of everybody else, like North Korea. You know what? They're so insignificant compared to the whole that they're easily manageable, like they've been managed. If they really are antagonists, we don't know. Everybody's playing a part. Since World War II, the establishment of the Jewish power control, the World Jewish Congress took over the world. 1946, United Nations, that was it. Ever since then, they've run everything. And for people to gaslight you and tell you that the Jews aren't running shit, they're liars. They want to sit there and compartmentalize them and say, no, man, they're Frankists. No, man, they're Khazarian mafia. No, man, no, they're all Jewish. No, I'm not being gaslit. I know my history, and I'm telling you now, it's the entire world is in on it. There is no conflict. It's all staged. Yes, people die in these bullshit staged deals, but it's not even a war. The United States hasn't even declared war. This is just a military operation. Military operations are now staged. Everything is to now completely redesign the distribution of natural resource powers. This is what this is going to do. The United States is going to become isolationist. It's going to come over here, but it's going to export a tremendous amount of oil and provide for its own oil. This is all by design. Go ahead.
Does it make sense to you also? Because I was thinking about this. Like, does it make sense as well that this is some sort of also like COVID 2.0 in the sense that, okay, we already got the lockdowns, this is like it's like a big thing already, like remind you to the COVID thing, and then like out of this, maybe they're gonna be able to finally put like digital ID and do this carbon tax that they want to do, perhaps doing less central, like more like a 2.0 electric grid where they can control like everything that you expend, and like some sort of like, like bring it to the next level in terms of like all like this digital bureaucracy and digital ID, the same things that they've been talking the World Economic Forum and all this stuff. Does it make any sense?
Yeah, well, the next series of lockdowns are basically going to be voluntary. Let me explain. Once they've pumped so much ethanol into our gas, people aren't going to want to go anywhere because it costs $95 to fill up their tank, and the tank burns so fast. The gas is going to burn this is what they're planning on doing starting May 1st in the United States. Most people don't even know this. May 1st in the United States, they're going to start diluting our gas with ethanol. When they do this, it's going to cost a fortune to fill up your tank, and your tank is going to burn that gas super fast. In addition to that, it's going to damage your catalytic converters. Anybody driving an old car that doesn't have flex fuel capacity is going to find out that within a month their car is going to stop working. And it's going to kill it. It's terrible. So there are things you can do right now before the panic sets in. There's going to be a panic when people realize this is what's happening after May 1st. And they're all going to go get all these ethanol neutralizers. They're going to get all these things to add to your gas. But those are going to leave the shelf so fast once people catch on to what's going on. And just like COVID had like 18 months of lockdowns, the next lockdowns are going to be voluntary because people aren't going to want to pay the price to drive. Other people are going to be educated enough to know that, damn, man, even if I do put that ethanol-laced gas ethanol amplified gas into my tank, I'm going to turn around and destroy my catalytic converter, my fuel injectors, and my damn engine's going to burn out. I said, no, man, I'm just going to wait. Just like COVID, the lockdown period will be over, and you'll go through another 5-year period. That's okay. It's going to be the same cycle. We're on this Olympiad Pythian calendar cycle that I've documented so well in Archaix. This is the cycle they're on. The next lockdown cycle's coming. It's probably going to start this year, but it's going to be fuel. It's going to be voluntary. People are just going to stay the hell home because it's too expensive, and people aren't going to want to destroy their vehicles. A lot of people, because of the fuel shortage, they're going to play this out. It's going to bleed over into a period where a lot of people are just going to be living on ramen noodle soups, beans, and rice because it's all they can afford. I don't see mass starvation. I don't see any of that stuff. I just see a tightening of the belt. But it's mainly going to start with the pump. And during this pseudo lockdown session in the West, I don't really know what's going to go on in the rest of the world. But in the West, what the United States is going to do, because it only takes about 6 months, is they're going to bring the oil and gas infrastructure back up to 100% capacity, because we're at like 91% right now. The United States is very well suited for this. But it's a transitional period, and it's going to boost the economy unlike anything we have seen, in probably 100 years. It's going to be awesome in the West, but it's going to take 6 months to 18 months for this transitional period. And here in the States, I already see it. Lockdowns will be voluntary because no one's going to want to pay those prices to move around, and no one's going to pay $100 to fill up a truck gas tank, and your gas burns 3 times faster than normal, and you are ruining your catalytic converter, which is going to be very expensive to change. It's going to destroy your engine. So this is what's happening right now.
Do you think there's going to be also like they're going to manage to roll out the digital ID and have you to log in to be able to use the internet, and then you're going to have to be like very responsible for what you do on the internet?
Well, we're already there. I mean, all this media talk about the coming digital ID deals and the coming digital currency and the CBDCs, isn't that kind of like a psyop? We're already digital. I don't need my credit cards and debit cards anymore. I don't need anything anymore. I just take my phone, which is a 100% surveillance. It's recording me now. My camera's always on. That's what these data servers are. These giant high-rise buildings that are data farms. They are taking all information from everybody's phones. It doesn't matter if you turn it off. It's still recording. It's still uploading everything. Aren't we already there? I can go to any gas station and tap my phone and pay for anything.
I get it for sure, but these are some countries that they are like much more, strict with this, like England. And like, maybe that's what I'm saying. This is gonna pull like this global thing that now, let's say Europe, like what you do on internet I live in Europe. It's a little bit less, it's less strict with these things with what you do there. But I feel that at some point, like just even to be able to log into the internet, you're gonna have to like do some biometrical stuff, and then there's not gonna it's gonna be like global, and also especially because like there's gonna be all this deep fake flood of things, and I don't know. I feel like we definitely are there, but in many places it's not official. Like for the law still they cannot really like do much, right. Unless in England and some other countries.
Well, it's it's going to be really hard to phase out cash. A lot of societies still run on cash, even though they have digital. You got debit cards and you've got automatic pay. You got all these payment apps and all that. There's still a large population that still deals only, for a lot of things in cash.
Yeah. Also, the whole black and gray market, and like all the politicians and but for that also you could potentially use some sort of coins, but I guess this is another talk. Let me just ask you just a couple of things more. This famous Sumerian tablet that is showing the solar system, is that where like the hoax starts, like Like they're trying to sell us this lie since there, or what's your opinion on that famous Sumerian tablet that is allegedly showing the solar system?
Oh yeah, the one that Zechariah Sitchin got popular showing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I really don't have much of a opinion about it. I disagree with Zechariah Sitchin on almost all of his chronological material, but it could very well be a Sumerian representation of what they believe the solar system to look like. We're not the first ones to come up with a heliocentric model. There were many Ionian Greeks who actually thought of a heliocentric system as well, and that stars were solids. And yeah, we're not the first one to come up.
But could it even be that it's actually like it's a false flag from back then? It's like the NASA from back then. That since then they are already like.
Absolutely. The only genuine I have found from that time period are the Venus almanacs. They religiously followed the movements of Venus, and then after they had lost faith in the Venus almanacs, they started studying Mul-Apen. The Mul-Apen became the astronomy of ancient Babylon. It's because something very destructive happened coming out of the Triangulum constellation, and it's literally the origin of the lunar zodiac, which later became the solar zodiac. So what Zechariah Sitchin showed, it is a singularity because there was never a follow-up later in Sumerian, Babylonian, or Akkadian studies. It seems that it appeared at that one time and then it was just forgotten.
Oh wow! Also, I wanted to just put a thought that I always try to talk to people to make sense in very easy words. You talk about basically that. That you need faith to believe in science. And I totally agree with you. And many times, like lately, when I talk to people, I tell them I don't believe in the universe, not because of flat earth or anything like this. It's just because even the most basic concepts that they teach us about cosmology, basic concepts such as a star, let's say, let alone like black holes or supernovas and all this thing. Even the most basic concept of a star that is supposed to be gas compressed in the vacuum of space, that in our reality, in our life, in this, let's say, in this paradigm that we live, it's impossible to explain it. So like the only way that I can do is believe on it. Nobody can explain this, not even the people who know the equations, because the people who know the equations, after they need to translate this into philosophy. And when you translate this into philosophy, all the real information has been lost. So the only thing that I have left to do, I can only believe in those concepts.
Right. I agree, man. Listen. I'm on board. I'm on board because the world that we have been educated to believe in, none of that stuff makes sense at all. So I totally agree. I don't know why people are offended that we live on a flat plane. So I don't buy into the whole flat Earth narrative because it comes with other attachments. But from a simulation perspective, I have no problem believing we live on a flat plane. Because if I was a computer programmer, there's no way I could even begin to build an ecosphere of programming until I started with a flat plane. And from the flat plane, then I would create terrain. And then terrain, I would create atmosphere. Then I would populate it with all kinds of things as a programmer. So I don't know why anybody has a problem with it.
What about also if it's potential, saying because it hasn't been seen yet, it could be many things at the same time. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like it hasn't been collapsed yet, so it could actually be both flat and round at the same time because it hasn't been collapsed. We have never seen it from behind. We have never unlocked the map.
Well, you know what? Your audio keeps going up and down, and everybody's telling me my audio is going up and down. We're being attacked, guys. Cyber attack. Archaix has officially been cyber attacked. It's the only thing I can explain.
I can hear you really good from my side.
Yeah, I can hear you now really good. It's the audio's tripping. It's going up and down.
Okay, so I'll be just quick. I have just a couple of ones regarding the simulation. I was thinking about this. Like, could it be that the simulation is actually a projection from another world? And I give you an example. When you see yourself, when you see your own shadow, it has some information about you, depending on the lights. Like how it's gonna be projected, but it definitely has something about you. When you move, it moves the same direction. So could it be that this is the shadow of the real projection?
Well, the sun could very well be a projector. I mean, think about being in a movie. When you stare at the lens from the projector, you can barely even look into it either. It's super bright. Our sun could be projecting all of this. I don't know. Now, I have given a theory in the past based off of the anomalous activity of variable stars. Do you know the difference between regular luminaries, stars, and variable stars? Do you know the difference?
Is it like, once again?
Okay, so the night sky is far more complex than you think. You have a whole bunch of luminaries that are all different colors, but you have a special species of star. They're called variable stars. They're all red. Not only are they all red, but they're called variable stars because they keep changing their magnitudes. Unlike other stars that stay at first, second, third, fourth, fifth magnitude, variable stars do not. That's why they're called variable. They change their magnitudes just like a projector would, as it's projecting different spectrums of light. So if variable stars are actually hundreds and thousands of projectors in the stellosphere, and they're projecting our reality, we would see them from the inside of the reality the exact same way we see them now, as little sparkling projectors that don't act like the other stars. They don't stay at the same magnitude as the other stars because the other stars are mere backdrop. The variable stars are the ones that are doing most of the tripping. They're all red, and they get brighter and they go dim, and there's never been an explanation for it. The old explanation was thrown out almost immediately and laughed at because some uniformitarian astronomers tried to say, well, those are dust clouds. It's dust clouds passing between the hundreds of billions of light years in between us and them. And other astronomers said that's just dumb. The reason it's dumb is because it's the same. The variable stars are well documented, and they're the same variable stars that are mentioned by ancient astronomers. So all these other stars that are fixed stars don't twinkle because why? They're fixed. They're fixed in the back. Whatever's up there, solid ceiling, I don't know, a firmament, whatever's up there. All the activity is in the variable stars. The variable stars, check this out, are red, and it's every 138 years that it's the red variable stars that are seen to do the most activity during the Phoenix phenomenon. And the most curious and brightest, strangest variable stars are in the constellations that are attached to the Phoenix phenomenon, like Andromeda, the Chain Maiden, like Perseus, like the Great Whale, the Kraken. Yeah, man. So, I need to redo that video, but I do have a video from like 6 years ago where I go through the constellations and I show you the variable stars and how they're all attached to the Phoenix constellations.
Jason, I have a really interesting question also regarding the hive mind.
This my buddy. This is gonna be the last one because I got 4 more people backstage.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Regarding the hive mind, do you feel like you have the ants or the bees, and especially the ants that they construct all these huge towers that they have all these systems of like ventilation and like for transport and everything. But if you take any particular ant, no one really knows. In fact, I don't think they're even conscious that they're doing these things. Do you think that we as a human, as a collective, could do some things also as a hive mind way that we are not aware? I remember this, for instance, this video of this girl that you invite, Michelle Gibson, showing the things with the fields, with the soccer fields and this kind of stuff. Like, does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. So in the animal kingdom, it's going to be different. Yeah, I can understand how ants have antenna. The antenna is designed as a resonator. It's a receiver for information. The queen is broadcasting signals that are so tiny and transient in her field that it's picked up by the hive. All the ants have antennas that receive the signals of the queen, so they are hive minded. But when it comes to humans we are very creative, we're very individual. Our personalities guarantee that the variables in our cognitive design are so different that people are going to go their own way and do their own things, except for one thing. There's one thing that turns humans into hive-minded, where they're all doing and thinking the same things, and they're not even thinking otherwise anymore. It's a terrible phenomenon, but it's trauma. Induced trauma or forced trauma is what makes humans hive-minded. Other than that, it's not natural for humans to experience.
All right, Jason. Listen, thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for the time. I'm gonna get you with more questions the next time, hopefully.
Next we'll do another one soon. We'll do a Q&A soon sometime. I wasn't going to turn this into Q&A, but it's okay. I don't really care. I'm all about freestyling.
All right, brother. We love you.
Love you too, man. Later. All right, let's see. Yeah, man, I like that. I was just talking to somebody on the other side of the world. I love that, man. It's awesome. He went to Dubai at the wrong time, but I think this stuff's going to pass over pretty quick. Let's see. All right. I got Hazy Davy next. Check my chat real quick. How's my audio doing right now? I keep turning this mic up because you're right. StreamYard or something keeps turning my volume down. I'm watching it. I have a light display that shows me how bright my volume is. I'm watching it go down as I'm talking. And it's not supposed to unless I dial it down. Straight up being hacked. Yeah, man. It means I'm on the map. It means I'm on the map. What you doing, Hazy? What's up, bud? Man, you got a delay over there, Hazy? Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. You can't hear me?
I don't hear anything. Can you hear me?
That's on your end. That's on your end.
I'm your no voice. Don't hear you.
Somebody in the chat tell him.
That was from like the whole last guest. I couldn't hear your voice, but I could hear him loud and clear.
Yeah, you did something. Somebody in the chat tell him that we can hear him, but he's muted. He's muted himself, or he's muted me. Hold on just a second, man. Let's see, band kick, edit mic settings. What is going on? All right. I'm going to do something else. You still can't hear me? All right. This is I don't know. Everybody in the chat can hear you and they can hear me.
Sorry, brother. Can't hear you.
All right. You need to read the chat, bro. Yeah, man. I can hear him clearly, but he can't hear me. You still, yeah, take those off. They're not working. Take these off. They're not working. We can hear you just fine. All right, this ain't working. He's not even looking at the chat. So. You still can't hear me? All right, I'm out of patience. That's totally on his end. It's got nothing to do with me. All right, Mr. Protocol.
How you doing?
Didn't I just talk to you on Cypher Thursday, or was that Chat Tuesdays?
That was Chat Tuesday.
Chat Tuesday, that's right. I feel like you're like my long lost uncle now. As many times as we talked.
Hey, well, I do appreciate that. You know, I just I actually had an idea. I actually was watching a video the other day, Cliff High Sci-Fi World, talking about a convergent emergency. Now, I can't go into detail. I'll have to watch the thing again. But he was making some points. But while he was, I was thinking about the ripples of time and how they merge, they converge with one another. Okay, so you don't have an exact event that happened in the previous time, but you have an event that is very similar, but it's different because you have all of these different elements that are involved now. Correct? In a convergence.
I agree.
Okay, I've got a clear liquid here in my cup. This out here is actually 7-Up. Okay, so I take my 7-Up and then I have a Body Armor peach drink here that my wife likes me to drink because it's healthy. I mix it. When I mix it, it changes the color, it changes the taste, it changes the properties of this 7-Up.
What you just made was a tertiary liquid. The first you had one liquid, you poured into a second liquid to produce a tertiary liquid.
Okay. That's what we do. That's what's been happening to this chat tonight. You've been having a convergency with other people on their connections and your connection and StreamYard and everything merging in. So there's been some interference. There's been something been going wrong, right?
Right.
Now, with that principle in mind, I think it would be ideal if you, now because of the bulk of your material, there's nobody going to come in here and going to get it in 1 or 2 videos. It's not possible. There's too much.
Listen, years ago, I used to get really frustrated with you guys. Remember, I used to go on rants on my Q&A Fridays years ago. I wish I would have never done it because it was immature, but I used to get so pissed off when somebody came in to my chat asking me questions that had already been covered in multiple videos. And I was like, you know what, man? It's every bit of this is already covered. Every bit's explained. You literally just came into contact with Archaics, got triggered, and you're asking me questions of a novice, and you're wasting everybody's time because everybody in my chat is already familiar with all this. We need to move on. Yeah, I was kind of brusque back then. I've deviated from that, but yeah, I used to get really irritated.
So anyway, what I'm thinking, brother, if you could take and maybe do a presentation, I know you've done this for like the Archaics for beginners, baby phoenixes, that type of thing. But I'm thinking more along the line, if you had a presentation that kind of consolidates the core concepts of the immortal within into a self-help application model for errants. So here's A, here's B, here's C, here's the way they converge with one another. But it's the convergent is going to be dependent on you.
Okay, so, I'm already seeing it. I already got my Microsoft Word document open. So I already have a chat. I already have a chart I got to do. I get it. You're talking about the armor of the oversoul. My piece is not for barter. Borrowing from the future self. You're talking about all that. You're talking about all the concepts in We Immortals, doing one video that basically provides a manual for each concept. Got
yes,
you.
Sir.
That's going on the to-do list. I'm going to type it in right now. So, We Immortals, all the concepts in one video. Yeah, man. That's why I say you're my long lost uncle.
Well, you know, even in the underground, I always try to post stuff that encourages self-help. I want people to know that they have the power within them to make the changes that they need. We don't have to have somebody else do it. We sometimes, though, even me, I need somebody to give me a little instruction on, hey, wait a minute, maybe if you do it this way, if you have a collaboration, like watching your Cypher video, this recent Cypher, the Cypher chat, and you were talking about getting everybody together and having a collaboration, and you're separate from everybody else, but you're all bouncing ideas off of one another, and then you're coming up with something for the community. I think that is fantastic. That's what any great leader does. You communicate with the community. You communicate with the members of your staff. You communicate with those close to you, those that you can pay attention to, that know your material. And then they can take and break that all down into a milk for those who are trying to eat meat and they can't. You can't feed a baby a steak. The steak would be good. The baby would enjoy it, but they don't have the teeth. They don't have the ability. They don't have the ability to chew that stuff. You can't feed a baby a steak. Now, your stuff is steak, brother. You're prime choice. This is stuff that's coming out. This is good stuff that you're putting out. Only thing is, I think maybe if there's some way to water it all down to where it's in a digestible form, in a milk formation, so that somebody can quickly get the nutrients from it.
I get it. You're a grown man asking for a pacifier. I understand.
Hey, right. I'm telling you. Yeah, no, I think that would be a great idea. I think the collaboration's a great idea. I think that's definitely what you need to do. I think you're moving in the right direction. I think the biggest thing, I wish there was a way, and I get frustrated when I try to communicate with people and I try to tell them, well, it's all about you. You're the one that makes the difference. I mean, yeah, I can give you every resource. I can give you all the ideas. I can tell you the principles, but you have to apply them. So I think that we're all broke down into a self-help application model. That would be absolutely phenomenal, and that would actually benefit you as well as the rest of the community.
Well, you know what? I'm probably going to name it the Errant Protocol. Hold on. The Errant Protocol. It's a perfect name. Manual. Hold on. The Errant Protocol Manual for Immortals. There it is. That's the title.
Well, you know where I got the name Errant Protocol, right?
Well, yeah, you got it from Errant, and you probably got it from that guy I fell out with, Phoenix Protocol. No, I got it. Regardless of Clay or Phoenix Protocol, whatever, I never really paid a lot of attention to him because he said some things he never did. So anyway, that kind of chalked that up for me. But nonetheless, after watching you and learning about the principles of the Errant, I was applying it in my mind to the way protocols work, principles work. And I thought, wait a minute. Since there is a protocol that governs everything, there has to be that convergence aspect. There has to be that element of change. And I call it the Errant Protocol. We implement the Errant Protocol, correct? Yeah. Because we changed the entire field, brother. It ain't that clear liquid no more. It's got this other stuff in it. It's the same thing whenever you're interacting with everybody here on the chat or in the community, whatever. You're actually partaking of something that they have, and you're mixing that with your beliefs, your ideas, your thoughts, and your words. Anyway, I think it's a great idea, and I do appreciate it. I just wanted to contribute something. It's 100% reciprocal. Don't think, I'm not some superhero energy guy. I got you. I have bad days. I got days where I stub my toe. Damn squirrel bites me. I've been feeding this squirrel peanuts. Things go bad in my day, and then trying to talk to somebody about something, they take it the wrong way and go postal on me, and I just walk away because I'm not looking for a conflict. And little things like that. But it's reciprocal because I can have a bad day and then I can come down and because I'm really rigid with my YouTube schedule. I'm going to do 2 lives a week. I'm going to do 2 live videos a week on YouTube. So there's an exchange of energy. You guys energize me. Sometimes I'll come in, I'm not really feeling it. But man, I get into it real quick, and you guys feed me the same time I'm feeding you. I may be feeding you some data, but you guys are giving me energy. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Well, look, I got one more thing for you. Now, I'm a coffee lover. I've been a coffee drinker since I was, oh gosh, I don't know. Probably when I was 8 years old, I started drinking coffee, 10 years old. I'm a coffee drinker. I love to drink coffee. Sometimes I drink coffee all day. Sometimes I drink coffee before I go to bed. Sometimes I drink maybe 1 cup in the morning. But the one thing that I do enjoy, I have discovered a couple of ways of coffee that are most interesting to kind of mix it up. Number one, I like coffee with milk and sugar. I like my coffee like my women, hot, sweet, and a little white, not all white.
Hey man, keep it PG-13, bro.
Okay. All right. So now I do like my coffee black. I like my coffee black. I like my coffee with nothing but honey. I like my coffee with nothing but sugar. Have you ever tried coffee with evaporated milk?
I'm pretty sure I've tried coffee with about everything known to man, even tea.
Coffee and evaporated milk with a little bit of honey, or even some pancake syrup. I know it sounds crazy, but it's some good. It just depends on your flavor, man.
Yeah, I get my syrup from Walker's Feed Store. I got local farmers that make their own maple and different syrups and honey that comes straight out the apiaries.
Yeah,
I buy all that, and yeah, I've put that in my coffee before.
And finally, ethanol-free fuel. That's the only thing that my wife and I put in our vehicles. We've used it.
Listen, all that's good. All that's good. Come after May 1st, you're gonna find out by May 15th. It's almost impossible to find any of those ethanol stabilizers. Once word spreads about what they're doing after May 1st with our fuel, I'm telling you, man, you're going to have a lot of people. They're going to panic, go out there and buy all that stuff up, and there's not going to be any incoming all the chemicals and all the stuff you can put in your gas tank to offset the ethanol is not going to be available on the shelves. It's going to get bought out. It's not going to come in on the supply chains. Yeah, they're going to use this to keep people from moving as much as possible. So it's going to be like one of those lockdown situations where you're going to drive around just enough to go to the store and come back. You know what I mean? Most people are going to be working from home again. This is all by design. We've been through it before. We're going to be just fine. It's just stupid. Just dumb. You know what I mean? But
it's so dumb. It is so dumb. It really is.
See the original COVID lockdowns, they put up millions of 5G towers. They had already started earlier, but it was during the lockdowns that they had these crews out there working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, setting up 5G towers everywhere. So this time during the lockdown, they're going to be doing something with the infrastructure again. It might be moving mass materials all over the place as they're built. Because one thing they're building all over the West right now, not just the United States, are these gigantic server farm buildings, these data centers. So you never know, man. But I just know that we're all going to be all right. Yeah, we're going to get pissed. We're going to get restricted. So you know what, man? Just find you a warm body. And you two, just turn that television on, because that's one thing they're gonna let us do is sit here and entertain ourselves. So it's rolling blackouts are gonna come. Have your generator. Be prepared to read some books. Turn your during the rolling blackouts, have you a backup battery system so you can look at your laptop and do Archaix Academy. Look at your library drives. A whole bunch of you got those library drives, so you'll always have something to do. But they're gonna do rolling blackouts as well, as energy conservation, but it's all bullshit. Everything they're telling you, the reasons why they're doing it, is not true. But the fact that we're going to go through this little lockdown period again is true. That's going to happen again. So.
Right. Well, look, I've got one question. In the Cypher video the other day, you put it out into the field. The $10 million is already out there. It's coming in to Archaix. Was that the amount?
We're not going to talk too much about what we talk about in Cypher, man. You're on YouTube.
No, but what I'm talking about is anything that you need, you call it into your field.
Oh, yeah. We speak those things that be not as though they are all the time.
Yeah, you call it in. I just wanted you to know, brother, whenever something happens and you need somebody, protocol may be very well available for employment and sometime in the future. I appreciate you.
Listen, I'm of the opinion I can put the framework of of a need into the simulacrum, I can put it out there into the field, and often it's not even what I need, it's only what I think I need. I can actually rely on the oversoul to just go ahead and provide for me when it needs to provide for me. If I just leave my expectations open that I'm always going to be okay, I don't really have to frame the future. I just live it as it's provided to me. So that's the way I feel about it. As far as, I mean, I'm going to tell you now, that's the adepts. If you're talking about magic, that's the true magician's attitude. It's the lesser magicians that have to employ ritual, and I get it. It's baby steps. It's they have to employ chapter and verse and ritual and do things, and then wait for a manifestation to realize that it worked, and then use more advanced rituals to create more advanced concepts. But once you're beyond all that and you're truly in the co-creator relationship, then it's open expectation that all things are going to be as the way they're supposed to be. And then that's when the really great things happen for you, is when you don't dictate them. You just expect them. So I got to get you off, man. Me and you talk for hours.
Hey,
I got Manfred coming in here.
Have a great day, sir. I appreciate you, brother.
Later, man. And don't let that juice go to waste. You created a tertiary juice. Go ahead and drink it.
Oh, no, I'm drinking it.
Later, man. Yeah, we talk a lot in the underground. All right. Hello, Manfred. Oh, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Turn your mic on. There you go.
Good evening. Nice to be here. So, I liked your video on showing that the Dark Ages were actually a vapor canopy period. Very convincing. So, ending around 800. 100, 200 years later, we started building cathedrals.
Yes.
Then came your video on giants, and I felt, oh, fantastic, yeah. Here is maybe the bridge proving that the people who built the cathedrals were a little bit bigger than 5 feet and 5 inches, building 10-meter high doors weighing a ton. No? Yes. But I did not find anything related to cathedrals in your video on giants. So
no, I didn't even talk about all the gigantic architecture that's been found all over the world. I didn't even go that far with it. Yeah. I was just talking. I really focused just on the traditions, mythology, and the anatomy. I didn't really go into. There is a lot of archaeology that is inexplicable unless you admit to the fact that the people that lived in these structures were 9 to 11 feet tall.
Yeah. So 2 points I like to mention. In the States, yeah, they uncovered in the soil thousands and thousands of skeletons, 9 feet to 15 feet big, all nicely collected by the Smithsonian Institute and hidden away, you know?
Yep.
Why are there so many less in Europe found and so many more in the States?
Well, that's a really good question. So we do have in the Mediterranean world many examples, like during the Roman Emperor times when Roman emperors received a dispatch and the mail literally told, the Roman Senate that a gigantic sarcophagus has been found, a skeleton 22 feet long and stuff. And sometimes the bones were sent to Rome for verification. We do have several incidents in the historical record of Roman emperors even being offended that titans and giants had been taken out of their graves, and they were ordered to reinter those bones and rebury that sarcophagus. So we have around the Mediterranean world, we have a lot, but you're right. Europe is very unique in that its forests are young. Its topography is young. We don't have almost any evidence of any ancient stone cities anywhere in Europe, before 1000 AD. It's the Northern Hemisphere. What happens in the Northern Hemisphere the most? Phoenix fallout, mud and dirt falling and raining from the sky. We're missing something about European history. I believe it's a reset, and it was probably a systemic reset in the Northern Hemisphere that was so bad that it literally erased whatever civilizations were there. Resurfaced the ground because the forests in Europe are young. They're only 300 or 400 years old. Unlike forests in North America. Forests in North America have some very, very ancient trees. Not all of North America, mainly Western North America have some very, very ancient trees and ancient forests. But there's whole areas of both Europe and Eastern to Central America that have no forests, and there's no reason not to. It's got very fertile, deep topsoil. Why haven't forests grown there? I believe it was because of some type of reset, some type of destruction. It might be a diluvian. I don't know. But we have areas of the world that have vegetation for at least 1,000 years, all throughout Ecuador, all throughout the Mayan culture and all that. Some of those jungles have been there for a very long time, hiding all those cities. You don't have that in Europe. You do not have forests in Europe concealing stone cities from ancient times. You don't. So it tells me that either something systemic happened and buried that part of the world, like whole areas of India were buried under the Deccan Traps. We don't know anything of the cultures underneath all that. We just don't know. Europe just, it doesn't have any of that infrastructure. It's just not there. So it's either deeply buried like North America. You've seen my videos where I show artifacts that are like 600 to 1,000 feet below the surface, all throughout North America. North America has been destroyed multiple times. Well, the last time Europe was really, really destroyed, it's probably deeply buried everywhere. I'm not going to say that it wasn't there. I'm going to say that it's not on the surface anymore.
Okay. So one more point. These cathedrals were not built by the local population or not built by the church, so to speak. No? They were built by ancient builders' guilds. No? These guilds, they got destroyed, dissolved later in the 100, 200 years before the Industrial Revolution. But they existed certainly at the time of the cathedrals, and they were built by these guilds. Did you ever look into the history of these guilds?
I don't know of too many European guilds, but the archer guilds, and they were anti-Christian, they were pagan, they couldn't stand the Romans. The archer guilds is the last true European guild that I'm aware of. But
the builder guild, the
builder guild was introduced. I'm talking about core Europe, native to Europe, native to like Celtic, Gaul, were the archer guilds, and they were anti-Christian. They were pagan. They're closer to the Druidic faith. But the builder guilds, I think most of those were imports. They came from somewhere else and built these cathedrals.
See, that's what I think. Yeah. So we don't know where they were coming from, or do we?
No, we really don't. We really don't. The cathedrals are a mystery because Christianity was later attached to the cathedrals, but the original function of cathedrals, this is more of, I'm just going to default to Martin Leakey. This is more the type of research Martin Leakey does. I know the time period the cathedrals were built and how long it took to build them, but the actual who built them and why, I really don't know. But the original Christian presence in Europe was small churches that were almost based off of synagogues. The cathedrals are something totally different, but they were later hijacked by Christianity.
Yeah. So I don't think that you talk about the Normans came in and brought a higher culture after a reset, after this Weber Kennedy period. But I think these builder guild who built the cathedrals actually were not necessarily Normans, but some other ancient group. I mean, similar to Cyrus the Great, freed the Jews from Babylon, and on some reason he financed them the temple in Jerusalem. No? They were not built by the Jews; they were built by some group. They say maybe the Phoenicians.
Yes. Yeah.
And
let me explain something real quick. So when you're talking about a builder culture, it literally takes only one person to actually know from start to finish how to build a cathedral. It only takes one person, because that person can train 3 or 4 like lieutenants, and then he can explain what their duties and their jobs are. And then it's really simple because you're not building everything at once. You start in baby steps and you get a work crew together. None of the workmen have to know. what the end result is. All they have to do every day is just follow instructions. Here's how here and once you get hundreds of men all doing little tasks, they're only concentrated on the little tasks that you train them to do. But you have, while they're doing those little tasks, you train the next tier of guys on what to do with the finished blocks.
I worked in logistics. No? You need an organization. You need not just a top hat. You need a structure of people organizing these.
Oh, I get it. You need your sawyers. You need your the people mixing your lime. You need the people who can finish the stone, not the ones who just cut it and quarry it, but you need people who are specialists in finishing the stone. So I get it. You have all your trades, but it only takes one person to know what the end result is when he has all these people working together.
The right stone has to be at the right time at the right spot. This is complex. This is complicated. Yeah. Naja. Okay. So this was my team for this night. Yeah. The vapor canopy, the cathedrals, and the missing point where I thought there must have been sufficient giants left from the vapor canopy to build the cathedral. And this missing point we did not discover yet.
So the historical evidence, as I showed, shows that the greatest period of this is really weird, the greatest period of giantism, where we have more people that are in the historical record at great heights, is the 1200s and 1300s. Even though the vapor canopy was over by the vapor canopy was over by the 800s, I don't understand the anomaly. That's why I'm always telling people that we're missing something. There seems to be around the 10th century another type reset. Because even the chronologist Isles, Fomenko, Alexander Del Mar, and myself see a real emptiness in the record from about 900 to 1100 is an emptiness. And then right around 1050 to 1100, all of a sudden we started building churches, cathedrals, universities, stone castles, everything at the exact same time, with almost nothing before that. So it's so weird that in the historical record, the most incidents that I was able to document was the 1200s for actual references to men who were 8 foot and 9 foot tall.
Okay, I hope we can close this gap over time, and thanks for this evening.
Yeah, well, what's your accent? Where are you hailing from?
So I am German, lived for 25 years in the States. Actually, in Cornwall, Arizona, we have another guy from Cornwall in the group. No? And I moved 2 years ago to Brazil as part of my retirement place. I love it here.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you for listening, and join us next time we do a Q&A.
Thanks for
and I will get to it. I will get to it on trying to bridge that time period.
Thanks so much. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
All righty. Ciao, ciao. All right. I forgot to ask him if he watched my Star Forts video. All right. Wow, that's an old video, Mr. C. Giants, Titans, and Tamahu. Archaics, Nephilim montage. Yeah, that's like 5 of my Giants videos all montaged into one video. He just posted it right here. I forgot about that video. That's reaching back. Those are 6 and 5-year-old and 4-year-old videos all montaged together about Giants. Giants, Titans, and Tamahu. Wow. Mr. C's on top of it. Dave, Sons of Jupiter, and then Clay's Pigeon, and then I'm done. Wrapping it up. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Jason.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. What kind of cap is that?
It's a World War I pickle hide.
All right.
That's what I wear when I do reenacting.
All right, man. Well, shoot, we're only one World War apart.
And this is the unit that we reenact in the 23rd.
Okay.
Cool. I was calling it today. It's my Tartarian ether antenna.
All right. Cool. Yeah, this is my shit show hat. This is my shit show hat.
Yep. I've been watching you and listening to you for quite a while, ever since Santos Bonacci. That was that episode really blew my mind and got me thinking, and here I am.
Yeah, man. That was a good show with he and Logan of Decode Your Reality.
Yep.
It's all three of them.
Yeah. There's an explosion there. But I was wondering what you think about this Artemis Semestris thing going up to the moon and all this crap.
I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be a popular opinion, but
with the sorry,
it's not going to be
moon eclipses and all that.
Not going to be a popular. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna wait for you to be all the way done.
Oh, I was just saying, and and maybe coincide with the moon eclipses or something like that we've had so far or recently.
I don't know. I don't know about the eclipses but you asked me about the Artemis launch. So
yep.
This is not going to be popular with a lot of people. The general consensus among, as you know, the collective is that, well, we've had the technology, we're going back to the moon, it's no big deal. So most of mainstream, collective-minded, hive-minded individuals, non-free-thinking people of the world, which is the majority, it's no big deal to them because they feel that we've already been there before. But it wasn't done for them. What was done on April 1st isn't even trolling. This is why this is unpopular. Those who think they're all the way awake, those who think that they've been down every rabbit hole, they feel that NASA is trolling them because the astronauts mentioned the number 33 about 8 times in their video. They also literally opened the video up saying, everything you see in this video is real. You know, we could never fake anything like this. Okay. Many people think that you're being trolled. I'm telling you now, that's not what's going on. It's not. For them to claim to do a launch on April Fool's Day, for them to actually show footage of the astronauts leaving on a cable like a ski lift. Did you see that video of the astronauts actually on a ski lift leaving the rocket launch?
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay, it's real popular. It's all over X right now. People are showing all kinds of close-ups of it. Shows 4K. Yeah, one for each astronaut. They're on a snow. As soon as the rocket starts taking off, four little ski lifts come out like they were trying to hide them. Listen, it was all by design. They wanted you to see that. Listen, the reason I'm going to tell you is unpopular, what I'm about to tell you, is because I've been saying for a while that we have friends pretty high up. And a lot of people don't want to hear that shit. But we have friends very high up and they are not allowed to tell us the fucking truth. And they keep showing us things and giving us all the data that these things are fake. And they're probably damn surprised that people still think they're being psyoped. Listen, nothing about that video was trolling. It was only trolling to somebody who was a baby waking up. If you're all the way woke up and you watch that video, they're literally telling you through satire. You guys know, man, we've never been to the moon. This is all bullshit. It's April Fool's Day. If you really think that this vehicle has 4 people and that we're actually coming within 33 feet of the moon, there's no help for you. There's no help for you. So I'm telling you now, the reason it's unpopular, what I'm telling you, people don't want to believe that we live in some type of AI controlled existence. And there are people who know this and they want to wake people up, but they cannot directly. There must be some contract or something enforced where they cannot directly tell you the truth. Many things are specifically released into the public sector for you to see for your own eyes that it's all fake. They want you to know it's fake, but they can't tell you it's fake. So this is where I'm at with that. You asked me the question, that's my answer. I believe we have people at the very top and they're literally trying to wake up those who will wake up and identify all those who are going to stay the fuck asleep.
That's the best answer I heard so far.
Man, that's the only thing I can come up with because it is so obvious when you watch that video. that they are. Come on, this girl's hair is hairsprayed all in one. It's stupid how they hairsprayed it too. And every time she looks around, come on, man, your hair wouldn't act like that in zero gravity. It's just so dumb. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
it's dumb.
yeah, I've seen that Flat Earth Dave,
Yeah.
and he has them videos, and it's pretty cool. They show where they're flying in the up and down plane, and how they have the little train and stuff in the back, and they show the picture, and it's it's pretty cool. But
Yeah, man. I don't
you
know,
know,
man. When I think about these things, because they're next level, it's next level. Even coming up with this concept that we have people. 'Cause I always have to default to. I told you I had a conversation with a very interesting guy one time who never would identify himself, but he's on a military base here in Texas. Dude literally told me, man, just keep on doing what you're doing, man. We got your back. And I never got an explanation of who are you? And I've always wondered, man, because the guy was asking me all these questions and I was answering them to the best of my ability because I don't often know who I'm really talking to. And so I just answer the best of my ability. But he all he told me was, man, I'm right here in Texas. I'm pretty close to you, man. He said, man, we listen to you all the time on the base. And he didn't give me a whole lot of details, but he literally told me, man, he said, don't hold back. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. You say you are in no danger of losing your channel. And if you did, everybody's going to go with you. We'd even help you get established wherever you landed in whatever platform. So I try to ask questions. Well, who are you, man? He said, man, don't even worry about it, man. He says, you're doing exactly what needs to be done right now. Keep doing it. And I was so vague and just kept doing it. But I always default back to that conversation when I'm deciding what the hell I'm going to say. Because a lot of the things I say in the Cypher group or in Underground are unfiltered. I'm not worried about it. Those are private groups. Yeah. But on YouTube, I'm always wondering, man, am I going too far? And then sometimes I just say, F it, man. I just unleash. And then
sometimes you just got to put it out there.
I get these phone calls where people just tell me, man, quit worrying about it, man. Just call it like you see it. So that's what I do, man.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
Exactly. Foul's a foul.
Yeah, man. I know everybody wants to think the elite are all evil. And I agree that the Epstein deal, if it's true, then a whole bunch of our rulers, actors, and actresses are a bunch of baby raping pedophiles. 100%.
Yeah. That's yeah. There's
but
no
I
doubt.
don't know the whole extent. I don't know. You know what I mean? All I know is what they release to the public, man. We're still susceptible to what they give us. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Just don't know. But yeah, you apparently you asked the right question because the chat exploded.
I guess we'll figure it out eventually, won't we?
Yeah, in the end, if I ever get jammed up by military intelligence or whoever, man, I don't care. I'm just gonna look him in the eye and just tell him, man, look, man, the only thing I really got to say is it's just all so dumb. Y'all couldn't come up with a better script. Y'all couldn't have come up with a better script. I'd have just shut the hell up. But the script you came up with is so dumb. I had to speak on it. Yeah, man, it's so dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't watched the Artemis video, you've got to watch it. It is so scripted. They're not trolling you. They're not trolling you. They're not. There's better ways to troll you. They're not trolling you. They're literally trying to get every intelligent person to listen to them and know that everything you're hearing and seeing is total bullshit. Yeah, man.
Yep. It all come out in the wash eventually, huh?
Yeah, man. So crazy.
Yep.
33 feet from the moon. And the other dude said, yeah, 33 feet. Then the other astronaut says, can you believe it? We're going to be 33 feet from the surface of the moon. And the fourth astronaut says, 33 feet. That's just, it's unbelievable. You just can't fake this.
It's like the third.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the 33 hours the 33 hours after Charlie. You know?
Yeah, man.
No, 33, whatever.
So good, man. It's just so good. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
I really wish, you know, you got all these captured operations. You got all these people that You know, Chase said it best. I showed that video clip of Chase. You know, Chase got over 1 million subscribers, man. He called it like he saw it. How the intelligence operatives, man, sit there and get these, you know, influencers and YouTubers and stuff to blacklist people, to not talk about people and all that. I just wish an intelligence agency would approach me and just approach me and say, hey man, check this out. Whole world seems to be gaslighting a bunch of people, but you know what? We want to do an experiment. We want to pay you to just give your absolute 100% honest opinions about everything going on. And I get paid to just say, man, it's so dumb. Listen, you know what I mean? I would go story through story in the narrative and just say, man, look at this shit. It's so dumb.
Just putting out the truth. And then and everybody knows it.
Shit.
And it just goes right over everybody's head.
I'll be in heaven if I could get paid just to tell the truth and give my honest opinions. If I can't give my honest opinions, you would know it. You would know it. If I can't give my honest opinions, you would know it, man, because truth vibrates at a frequency, and I'm not even able to lie. I get caught in a lie fast. You know what I mean? I sit there try to give a little old fib, and I'll wear that shame on my face, bro.
Yeah.
I can't get away with it. So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm not a good fibber. And if I do fib and I do think I get away with it, I just tell on myself later. Yeah, man. You got to think. I got a long history of that. I got a proven history of that. 17 years old? Yeah, man. I get caught up in some bullshit. I didn't even sign up for it. But you know what?
Yeah.
When I took the victim to the police department, I wrote a full statement about everything happened. I'm the only one that told the truth. I'm the only one. Yeah, my buddy, he used to be my buddy, John Ernesto, his story was totally different than mine. Her story was totally different than John's and mine. She wasn't even saying anything happened that night. I'm talking about all three statements started a fucking shitstorm of investigations. I'm the only one I told the verbatim the whole truth, everything that happened that night, and I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it because it's just so bizarre. But telling the truth has got me in trouble so many times, but not telling the truth has always come out. It's always come out. I ain't never been able to fib and get away with it. Never. Always get caught.
Like everybody says though, if it wouldn't have happened to you.
Yeah, man. Tell you, dude. What other questions you got?
That's it, buddy. I just wanted to
I like the hat, man.
Hey and put a face to the name because I'm always, you know,
I've seen Sons of Jupiter in my chat for a long time.
Putting stuff out there. It was Wolf, but you banned me because I said something once or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, you had to put your tail between your legs and burn off, man.
Exactly.
How do you know? How do you know? Everybody else, listen. How do you know it was me? How do you know it was me? How do you know it was me though?
Well, I don't know if it was you or not. It was probably I'd say Mr. C there.
Yeah, man. Mr. C is my sergeant in arms. Yeah, man. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad you made it back in.
That's all right, buddy. I'm riding a ride.
Well, I got one special guest left, Clay's Pigeon, and I'll be done for the day.
Auf Wiedersehen.
All right, man. Al rato. Yep. All right. Más al rato. Yo habla contigo al rato, mi amigo. Mr. Pigeon. Mr. Clay's Pigeon.
What up, Jason?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm going to give you one more guess. See if you can go 1 for 3 or 0 for 4 on what my actual name is.
Golly, dude, I deal with hundreds of people a week, bro. You really going to do that to me, man?
Yeah. Yep. I've seen you 3 times. You've struck out all 3.
We had the exact same conversation when it was raining under a pavilion in Asheville, North Carolina. I remember your face. I remember our conversations. My memory is like that. I remember dates, but I cannot remember names.
It's right in my name.
Clayton.
Clay. Yeah, there you go. All right, what I wanted to talk about was the pattern of the Phoenix. You've addressed it once, the 369.
Yep.
So if you start at 2178, you get 9, 2046, 1902 is a 3, and it runs that pattern all the way to you get to 31 BC where it starts a 4-7-1 pattern.
Okay, so if that is true, and I have talked about that, but that may counter another theory that I have about being fourth magnitude events. There would be only third magnitude events.
That's all I'm seeing. 2178 being the systemic reset is a 9. Go to 1902. That's a 3. Not very bad. 2040 is a 6. That's a medium. So I'm wondering where the fourth magnitude is. Because the pattern shows 3. Even when you get to 31 BC, it runs.
I agree. The pattern in the Anno Domini calendar does show 369, and that's very compelling to me. But the pattern that I have documented is the Phoenix cycle, and that's 4 Phoenix. That's 4 periods of 138 years. 552 years is 4 periods. So one cycle does not negate the other. It merely means you have identified an epicycle, which is going to be a part of a larger cycle. The larger cycle is the Phoenix cycle of 552 years, which is 138 times 4. You have identified in the Anno Domini calendar, you have identified the Tesla numbers of 369 in a repeating pattern under that calendar. Like I said, one does not negate the other. We just need to figure out why there's 2 separate patterns and where do they mesh. We need to draw this on paper and see where that 9 lands on the 552 version of that same pattern. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep, I got you on that. But and the 3, 6, and 9, the 3, 6, 9 and the 1, 4, 7 are also weird together. So if you add 3 to 1, 4, and 7, you get 4, 7, and 1. Add 6, you get 7, 1, 4. Add 9, you get
so I need to ask you a question, because I do not understand. I understand the 369 concept, and these are orders of magnitude. I get it. I don't understand 471. Where did the 47?
Well, the 147. Well, 31 BC would be a Phoenix year, right?
What year?
31 BC.
Absolutely it was. That was the Olmecs got wiped out. Yeah.
Right. So that's a 4. So if you add 138 years to that, you get what?
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. So now you're on the Gregorian BC count. You're no longer on the Anno Domini.
Right. Yep, exactly. And it runs a 4-7-1 pattern as far back as you want to go.
I'll be damned. Have you looked at the Annus Mundi dates instead of the Anno Domini?
I have not.
Like 3895. What is 3895? No, 3895 is still Gregorian BC. Oh, that would be year 1. What about 1656, the year of the flood on the old world's calendar?
Well, 1 and 6 is 7, 7 and 5 is 12, 2 and 1 is 3. That would be a 9. So that would be a 9.
Yeah, well, the Great Flood was one of the worst ones, so it being a 9 makes sense.
Yeah, it just kind of, like I said, in the 1, 4, 7 and the 3, 6, 9, like I said, they're weird numbers also. Like I said, if you add 3 to 1, 4, 7, you get the 4, 7, 1. Do the same with the 6. If you add them together, you get 5. You get 516, which is a 3. If you subtract 369 from 147, you get 222 is a 6. And if you multiply 147 times 369, you get 54243, which is a 9. Kind of weird.
So yeah, I have to draw this out. I'll put a note. You've provided me my 3rd project. I put a note here to analyze the entire Anno Domini, the entire Gregorian, and the entire Annus Mundi chronologies in the 369, and I'm going to do like a parallel column of the 552-year Phoenix cycle, because I'm going to see where the crossover is.
Here's another question I have too. So I found a 147 pattern, and I found a 369 pattern. So that means there's a 258 pattern missing somewhere.
Well, have you checked the Nemesis? See, that's another one. I'm going to check Nemesis X too. All right.
Well, it would just make sense to me. I don't know if there is a pattern, but if you have a 147 and a 369, it only makes sense that you should have a 258.
Well, that could be the Dark Satellite or Nemesis X. Let me see. Nemesis X. Man, I didn't want homework, man. You gave me homework.
Well, you picked me for last, so.
Oh, I did not pick you for last.
I might have saved up myself for last.
Yeah, somehow you're the last one on my whole deal on the bottom.
Well, the best for last works out then.
That's all right. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, I remember when you and I and Big John under the tarp in the rain. Remember, I was worried about my tower speaker getting wet.
Yeah, I remember.
And we had Jamie right there. Jamie and OG Face Diaper with us. Everybody else was inside, and we're all out there getting wet under the tarp. Like those tarps were really trying to keep us dry.
Partially dry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like those travel meetups. They're fun. They are fun. But I'm going to change it up. Now, that was at the Crimmies. I like those type of meetups. And my future meetups are going to be like that as well. I think I'm done renting the big expensive venues and doing all that stuff like that and selling these exorbitant tickets. I kind of done with that. Just like I'm done with the I don't care about the merchandise and all that. I'm just so finished with it.
I kind of do. I'm kind of pissed. I'm kind of pissed at you about the merchandise. I've only got like 8 Archaix shirts.
Listen, man, when I'm better organized, you know what? I'll bring all that back. But right now, it's not the right time. But my meetups are going to be there's more than enough people that have expansive properties in their own venues where I can do meetups on people's property. Like the Crimmies was perfect. It was perfect. You know what I mean?
The Crimmies was awesome. Well, I went to the first one. I went to your first one, and then went to the Crimmies, and we went to Tampa, and Crimmies was the best because you got to talk to everybody there.
Yeah, well, before the end of the year, I'll be posting it real soon. I have to call and ask them a few questions, but I'm gonna have a Glen Rose camp deal. I'm not gonna sell tickets. If you get your ass there and get you a camping spot, man, and there's a lot of places to park and camp and all that. There's bungalows and all that. But yeah, people want to come hang out. I'm all for it. I don't need to sell tickets. I don't need to do all that. I just need to do it like a little meetup where we can all go to the badass fossil museum and go look at the hyperbaric chambers. Go talk to you. We can all go talk to the scientists together. That's a huge building, that little museum they got that I showed in my video. Yeah, we can all go in the Paluxy River and actually go look at those giant avian footprints they're calling dinosaur footprints. Oh, there's fossils everywhere. It's badass.
Yeah, I think I know the guy who suggested the camp out at the Crimmies house. I think I know that guy. Oh, yeah, that was me.
Yeah, man. Fearless Vic. That's the only size we had left, girl. She's talking about I sent her a 3X. All right,
Jason, I'm going to let you go. You've been on for a while. I just wanted to run that pattern thing by you. I knew you'd make a chart out of it and see if you can find that 258 pattern I'm missing.
Yeah, so I got 3 6. So you're talking about there's a pattern for all 9 digits.
I would have to say so. I mean, those are the numbers that matter, right? Or are you just going to eliminate 2, 5, and 8 from, there's got to be a 2 and 5, 2, 5, 8 pattern in there.
I'm not eliminating it. Tesla did. Yeah, man. But you're right. Well, we should be able to see something like that. It's everything starts off complex, but in the end, we always find out it's very simple.
Indeed, it is.
All right, bro. I'll holler at you later.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Later.
Yeah, man. That's like the 3rd time he got on my ass for not remembering his whole name. That's all right. Let's see. Lunar Piscean, please come to the Midwest soon. I'd like to. Who knows? Let's see, I'm gonna kick. Yeah, man. But shoot, we never even got to my list. I had a whole list of things, but we ended up talking about all kinds of stuff. It was all good with me. It's all good with me. So, I got to shoot my darts every once in a while. So, those of you in the underground, we're going hard 3 hours or more tomorrow, Chat Tuesdays. We got some awesome things to talk about. And if you're not in the underground, the link is in the description box. It's so easy. It's $5.50 a month. And it's not just live videos we do in the underground. It's a truther hub. It is a platform. It is a massive amount of things to do in there in the underground. even personals. If you're looking for that significant other, if you're looking for that warm body to get you through this coming lockdown, we got personals in there. We got all kinds of shit in there, really. But yeah, underground is awesome. But I got to shoot my darts every once in a while. I can't just not, every once in a while, just let these guys know that I'm still here.
Billy Carson, hiding behind the emerald lights, forbidden knowledge, but that truth's glides. Archaix napalm, burning through the night. Spin your tales of Anunnaki gods, aliens from the Bureau, mining gold in the sod. Sitchin's old fictions you repackage and sell. Emerald tablets hoax, ringing that grifter bell. Claim degrees you don't have, fake credentials on show. William Tyrone Carlson, everybody knows. Pineal gland scams, decalcify your mind. Paywalls and course, leaving truth behind. Freedomites from Mars, 65,000 years ago. But the tablets say different, stealing the show. You dodge every debate, run from the real fight. Professor Dave called you out, vanished into the night. West Huff wrecked your Bible claims, sued to hide the shame. But Archaix is coming, torching your game. Billy Forbidden, all you're crashing down. Grifter king of pseudo-science town, selling ancient aliens, fake history shit. But the napalm truth from Archaix has run, Billy, run from the facts you fear. Your empire's crumbling and is near. Forbidden spaghetti, tangled in deceit. The world's waking up, feel the heat. Joe Rogan's couch, you sat and spun your yarn. Terrence Howard vibes, but you're sounding the alarm. Overpriced Egypt tours, non-refundable pain. Florida DA called you out. Predatory game. Handbags and star maps, misreading the seals. VA 243 nonsense, no solar system reveals. Manifest destiny channels, quantum mind so fake. With Howard on stage, what a mistake. Sumerian kings live forever, you say with a grin. But Archaix data proves you can't win. You get so forbidden when the scholars unwind, losing your matrix, leaving facts behind. Call out the frauds from Sitchin to you. Archaix is rising, exposing the crew. Billy Forbidden, all you're crashing down. Grifter king of pseudo-science town, selling ancient aliens, fake history shit. But the napalm truth from Archaix heads. Run, Billy, run from the facts you fear. legends and stories, putting on a show. From the pyramids' depths to Antarctic lies, your hidden chambers empty, no surprise. Archaix roars with chronologic fire, burning your bridges, taking it higher. No more hiding in your forbidden veil. The simulation's breaking, your tales fail. Billy Forbidden, yeah, you're crashing down. Oh, Billy, grifter king, losing your crown, selling forbidden dreams, but the truth is clear. Archaic napalm, year after year. Run, Billy, run, but you can't outpace. The data's dropping, sealing your disgrace. Forbidden spaghetti, forever confined in the Archaix blaze. You're left behind.